Chapter 976. With freezing irony and burning satire, the boat broke and you ended up on an island in the middle of nowhere. Ziyi, how did you manage to come back? Did a powerful group rescue you? Asked the old man coldly. He was furious at the pirates. I met Lin Feng. I was alone with the two bodyguards who betrayed me. They wanted to rape and kill me. Lin Feng killed them both and fixed the boat, said Yang Ziyi. The old man frowned. He looked outside with his awareness but surprisingly didn't care about Lin Feng. He's not an amazing fighter, but he managed to fix the boat. Show me the boat, said the old man. Yang Ziyi didn't know what to say. She remained silent. What's wrong? Asked the old man. Lin Feng fixed the boat and saved me, but in exchange, he wanted to keep the boat, said Yang Ziyi in a low voice. The old man frowned and suddenly looked angry. How dare he steal our items? Great-grandfather, that boat was broken. I didn't care about it anymore and I was stuck on the island. Lin Feng managed to fix it and save me. Giving him that wrecked boat is not big deal when you look at it that way, explained Yang Ziyi. Humph, why did he come here with you? Asked the old man coldly. I don't know, said Yang Ziyi, shaking her head. Everybody wants to marry you to mix their blood with ours. You're extremely beautiful. In the northern part of Ba Huang province, everybody is interested in you, the old man reminded her. Yang Ziyi remained silent. Lin Feng had saved her, but he had obtained a boat. That was great already. Now he had come with her to her clan. Why? Great-grandfather, he saved me after all. Give him the boat and a few abstruse crystals. I owe him that at the very least, said Yang Ziyi. Ziyi, you are too generous, said a young man coming inside. That young man was handsome and looked like Yang Ziyi. It was her elder brother, Yang Zilan. The old man looked at Yang Zilan and smiled. Zilan, Ziyi is right. Since he saved Ziyi, we can't let anything happen to him. Give him some abstruse crystals and ask him to leave. Great-grandfather, I understand, said Yang Zilan. He looked at Yang Ziyi and said, Ziyi, let's go. All right. The siblings left and saw the young man with the silver wings. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. Brother Junluo, stop, said Yang Zilan. He turned around and recalled his spirit. You're lucky. If Zilan hadn't intervened, I would have killed you, said the young man mockingly. Lin Feng nodded at Yang Ziyi. He had saved Yang Ziyi and brought her back home safe and sound. He had helped her a lot. However, being friends with her seemed too inconvenient. It was better for him to leave. Yang Ziyi acted as if she hadn't seen Lin Feng at all, which made Lin Feng's smile turn rigid. Brother Lin, I've heard about you. Thank you for helping my little sister. You can consider the boat as a gift. Besides, here are a few abstruse crystals as a gift. Thank you. Yang Zilan gave a ring to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was surprised but took the ring. He felt uncomfortable. The boat could be considered as a gift as well? What did he mean by considered? Lin Feng had fixed the boat. Could he give it back after fixing it? Could he have brought Yang Ziyi back if he hadn't fixed it? Besides, what were those crystals about? Were they asking him to leave? Yang Ziyi looked cold and detached, even emotionless. Lin Feng understood. Brother Zilan, what is that boat story about? Asked someone. Zilan smiled indifferently and said, my little sister was in danger in the middle of the Huang Sea. Brother Lin helped her, but asked for her boat in exchange. He also brought her back home safe and sound. We can't be mean to him. So the boat and the abstruse crystals are a gift to express our gratefulness. I see. That's empathy, helping people and stealing their items, said the young man in silver clothes mockingly. He came here only to steal the items of the Yang clan, said all the young men mockingly. Lin Feng looked at Yang Ziyi and said, is that what you think or is that what he thinks? Yang Ziyi looked at him and said, Lin Feng, thank you for having taken me back. Please take the abstruse crystals and leave. I understand, said Lin Feng. He felt ridiculous for acting so nice. He threw the ring away and said, you can keep your abstruse crystals. Yang Zilan caught the ring with the crystals. Then he frowned and said, if that's not enough, tell me what else you need. Nothing, said Lin Feng indifferently. Humph, are those crystals not enough for having saved my sister? Could it be that you're a bit too greedy? Said Yang Zilan while groaning coldly. So you think your sister's life is worth a few abstruse crystals? How ridiculous, said Lin Feng indifferently. He turned around and left. I hope that if I'm in trouble someday, you'll be there to help. I'm leaving for now, I hope you don't mind. Brother Lin, we don't mind you leaving, but please accept the abstruse crystals. Refusing a gift is impolite, said Yang Zilan. Who was Lin Feng to ask them if a life was worth a few crystals? Yang Zilan threw the ring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng suddenly turned around, condensed qi in his hand and grabbed the ring. He looked at Yang Ziyi and her brother and said, "All right then, I'll take it. I'm off now." After that, Lin Feng disappeared in the crowd. Yang Zilan looked at Lin Feng coldly. After a few minutes, he calmed down, smiled at the crowd and said, "Let's be happy, everyone. Zilan, you're too nice. You even gave him abstruse crystals. He helped Ziyi after all. Now he's got her boat too, I'm not happy about that," said Yang Zilan indifferently. The young men looked at him. Yang Zilan continued, "Ziyi loved her boat. What a pity. Brother, I have something to do. See you later," said the young man with blue clothes as he left. "Me too. Let's go together," said the young man with silver clothes. Very quickly the young men left. Yang Zilan smiled in a cold way. "Brother, what are you doing?" said Yang Zilan. The young men were all smart. They knew what Yang Zilan wanted. Now Lin Feng was in danger. "Ziyi, he doesn't care about you, why would we need to be polite?" said Yang Zilan. Then, he sat down on a stone bench and said coldly, "How could he steal our treasures?" He looked furious. Chapter 977. Yendi going insane. Lin Feng felt relieved as he arrived outside. He had Chongqi come out. Chongqi glanced around and smiled. "What? Are you going through hard times? You told me not to go there. Did you know what was going to happen?" asked Lin Feng. "You just need to use your brain. In this world, if you're weak, nobody respects you. You're not as strong as those people. Even if you saved Yang Ziyi, going in with her was a mistake. People will think you expect something from them. On top of that, you already had her boat," whispered Chongqi. Lin Feng was too naive. He didn't expect anything from her. He just wanted to be friends and go to Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu with her. What was the problem? Lin Feng didn't understand. In the world of cultivation, weak cultivators were bullied. Only the strong were respected. "You should have explained those things to me earlier," said Lin Feng. "You're still growing up. You have to learn from your mistakes," said Chongqi. "What if I had died? Are you not worried about me?" "Impossible. You saved Yang Ziyi, that's a fact. You were perfectly safe there. They wouldn't attack you themselves or let people kill you. If they wanted to kill you, they would do it secretly." "Your mean emperor," said Lin Feng. Chongqi was old and smart. He knew more things than him. "Call me Yendi," said Chongqi. Lin Feng looked at him and remembered that he was an emperor who had turned into an old beast. Letting Chongqi act arrogantly and proud was the least he could do. "Humph." Chongqi sighed and said, "Some people are following you." "I know, not just one or two," said Lin Feng. "How shameless. He saved Yang Ziyi and now they were chasing him. What did they want? To kill him?" Lin Feng ran to the city center of Tianyuan City very quickly. Many people sensed the wind from his quick movements. The ones chasing Lin Feng were fast as well. 5 people were following him and they weren't trying to hide. Lin Feng could sense their energies. They were implicitly telling him that they weren't scared. Besides, those people were all stronger than him. Lin Feng wasn't running at full speed, so those young men could easily catch up with him if they wanted, but they didn't. They kept a distance between him and them. They are waiting until you end up in a place where there aren't too many people. Don't do something stupid. When you see a big crowd, stop there," said Chongqi. He understood what those kind of people thought. "All right," nodded Lin Feng. He then ran towards a crowd. After a short time, Lin Feng arrived on a public square. There were many palaces and people were everywhere. "This looks like a good spot," said Lin Feng with a smile. Those who were following him frowned. They arrived in the crowd too and released energies to oppress Lin Feng. Dai, the one with silver clothes, moved very quickly and arrived in front of Lin Feng. He opened his silver wings and attacked. Busy. Lin Feng moved back with the wind. However, the silver wings reached him and tore apart his clothes. Lin Feng stopped. They wanted to kill him as quickly as possible. There were people everywhere, but they didn't care, they just glanced at them. Battles in the middle of the street were normal in Tianyuan City. Was it the Yang clan who sent you to kill me to prevent secrets from being disclosed? Shouted Lin Feng furiously. Everybody heard him in the public square. Yang clan? Prevent secrets from being disclosed? What Yang clan was Lin Feng talking about? There was only one Yang clan in Tianyuan City, the Yangshi clan. Lin Feng's question drew many people's attention. Was he really talking about the Yang clan from Tianyuan City? How could the Yang clan send people to kill a cultivator of the second Tianqi layer? Chou Junluo, that Chou Junluo from the Chou clan. He's been interested in Yang Ziyi for a long time, said someone who recognized the young man with silver clothes. Many people were whispering. That's Jiang Ning, he was staying at the Yangs these days, said some people who also recognized the young man with blue clothes. Many people recognized those 5 young men. They belonged to large and rich families. Even though their clans weren't as strong as the Yang clan, they were rich and powerful. However, why were those 5 strong cultivators chasing a cultivator of the second Tianqi layer? BZ. A silver light flickered and a fireball exploded. Roasted wings, my new specialty, said Chongqi, spitting out a fireball at the silver wings. Slash slash. The silver wings were burning from Chongqi's flames and started melting. I'll increase the temperature, said Chongqi with a cold smile and spat out more flames. Chou Junluo was fearless, he ran forwards as if the fire couldn't harm him. But at that moment he frowned. A dark red fire appeared which contained a terrifying strength. Piss off. The silver wings moved towards the dark red fire. However, crackling sounds spread in the air as the silver wings burnt even more rapidly. The fire continued moving towards him. Chou Junluo frowned and ran back. At the same time, Chongqi swallowed his fire back. The fire disappeared as if it never existed. The crowd was surprised. A Tian-level beast had made Chou Junluo flinch. Even though Chongqi was only a Tian-level beast, his fire was incredible. Especially that dark red fire. Was that fire his own? Ancient beasts were, as expected, very strong. You're all annoying. My buddy just had fun with a girl, why try to kill him? Said Chongqi. The crowd was astonished. Chou Junluo was petrified too, had fun with a girl? Bastard. Lin Feng was angry and swore at Chongqi using telepathy. I'm helping you. You saved a girl because you're a nice guy and people want to kill you because of that? We should make them even angrier. You're furious, I'm furious too. Said Chongqi. Lin Feng was furious indeed. If those people had just insulted him, no problem, but those people are shameless. He saved a young woman and they tried to kill him. Chapter 978. Mad words, stupid animal. How dare you pronounce such words here? Said Chou Junluo furiously. That Tian-level beast actually ruined Yang Ziye's reputation. Everybody would hear about that, what a humiliation for the Yang clan. Well, why are you chasing my buddy then? To kill him? You're pathetic. My buddy rescued Yang Ziyi from an island in the middle of the Huang Sea. They found each other attractive and had sex, so what? Don't hate him for that. We just paid a visit to the Yangs. We left 20 minutes ago and you're already chasing him. Said Chongqi. Lin Feng was petrified. What was Chongqi doing? Emperor, said Lin Feng using telepathy. Chongqi interrupted him and said, Don't worry, little boy. I'm the one who asked you to travel the world with me. I won't let anything happen to you. I guarantee I will bring you back safe and sound. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. Was Chongqi suffering from the side effects of some drug or what? Why was he going insane in Bahuang province? Stupid animal bastard, you're tarnishing Ziye's reputation. The 5 young men were furious. You're the animals. You're acting like slaves because you want to have sex with Yang Ziyi. But you know what? She doesn't give a shit about you guys. You're just dirty little animals. At most, she would be willing to have you as slaves. Said Chongqi while staring at those 5 people intensely. When he saw how furious they looked, he said, Attack, kill us. Nobody will know what happened on the island then. Chou Junluo and the others' faces turned deathly pale. They were wondering if it was the truth. Killing Lin Feng and Chongqi was difficult now. If they killed them both to prevent a secret from being disclosed, Yang Ziye's reputation would be ruined. People would think it was true. On top of that, Yang Ziyi wouldn't be that grateful, and even worse, they would never be able to marry her. Chongqi was willing to say anything. Lin Feng looked at them and glanced at Qiong Qi. Qiong Qi's game had turned dangerous. What are you guys doing here? At that moment, two silhouettes appeared in the sky. Yang Zilan and Yang Ziyi had appeared. Yang Ziyi pulled a long face. Lin Feng and Qiong Qi had surprisingly tarnished her reputation. However, Yang Zilan was smiling gently as if nothing had happened. Brother Lin, I wouldn't have thought Jun Luo and the others would be angry at you because of the boat. Please don't be angry, said Yang Zilan. He then added, Brother Lin helped rescue Ziyi and took her back. We're infinitely grateful. We gave a boat to Lin Feng to express our gratefulness. How dare you attack Brother Lin without our consent? When the crowd heard that, they remained silent. They were still wondering if Lin Feng had actually had sex with Yang Ziyi. Lin Feng looked at Yang Zilan indifferently. He was a good actor, he even remained calm and nice. That was admirable. By saying that, people would think that because he asked Yang Ziyi for her boat, the others were attacking him. Brother Yang, he's insolent and shameless. If you want to give him your boat, fine. But we won't let him off, said Cho Jun Luo. He didn't know what to say, so he just tried to imply that Lin Feng had, indeed, asked for the boat because he was greedy. Lin Feng felt annoyed. Those rich kids were annoying and evil. You see? The Yang clan doesn't care about you having saved Yang Ziyi. You don't need to be polite, said Qiong Qi to Lin Feng using telepathy. Lin Feng remained calm and even smiled indifferently. Many people were evil in the world. He had to get used to it. They weren't the only ones, many people would be like that in the future. Master Yang, Miss Yang, said Lin Feng while smiling. The siblings were surprised but looked at Lin Feng and smiled. Yang Zilan said, Are you alright, Brother Lin? May I ask you a few questions? Asked Lin Feng. Please do not hesitate, said Yang Zilan very politely. I want to ask Miss Yang something, said Lin Feng while smiling indifferently. He then asked Yang Ziyi, Please tell me if I'm wrong. Your boat broke and you ended up on that deserted island. Then your servants betrayed you and almost raped you. They even attacked you, right? Indeed. They didn't rape me though, said Yang Ziyi. They didn't indeed. But you were injured. Do you know why they didn't rape you though? Asked Lin Feng. You saved me, said Yang Ziyi. Indeed. I saved you, said Lin Feng with an indifferent smile. The crowd was surprised. Lin Feng had saved Yang Ziyi from being raped by her own people. The news would spread around the city quickly. Let me ask you something else. Have I ever been mean or disrespectful to you? Never, of course, said Yang Ziyi. Lin Feng smiled. With that question, he was already showing others that he hadn't tarnished her reputation. Well, your boat was broken, so how did you come back? Asked Lin Feng. Yang Ziyi was annoyed but still replied, You fixed my boat and took me back. Thank you for exposing the truth, Miss Yang, said Lin Feng. He slowly turned around and looked at Yang Zilan. I want to ask you, Master Yang. If I hadn't been there, what would have happened to Miss Yang after her boat broke? Would she have been able to come back at all? Brother Lin, the Yang clan will always remember what you've done for Ziyi, said Yang Zilan in a gentle way. Lin Feng smiled coldly and said, I could have fixed the boat and abandoned Miss Yang on the island. I could have left alone with the boat and Miss Yang would still be on the island. I didn't do that though, I took her back. Since I fixed the boat, isn't it normal that I keep it? Of course, said Yang Zilan with a gentle and warm smile. He already wanted to kill Lin Feng deep inside though. He couldn't bear hearing his voice anymore. Is that so? But it's not what you said before, said Lin Feng coldly. He then said mockingly, I took Miss Yang back, I was attacked. Then you said I was the one who asked to have to the boat. Then you made me leave by giving me abstruse crystals. That's how you express your gratefulness? That's a misunderstanding, Brother Lin. We just wanted to give you something to express our gratefulness, said Yang Zilan, who wasn't smiling anymore. Is that so? I just left your palace. Why are those people chasing me? Why do they want to kill me? Asked Lin Feng. People started whispering again. They finally understood what had happened. I wouldn't have thought they would do that for Ziyi. Concerning the boat, it's all my fault. I didn't express myself clearly, said Yang Zilan. He didn't mean what he was saying though. Interesting, said Lin Feng with a cold smile. Everything is very clear now. If you hadn't said those things on purpose, then they wouldn't even know about the boat. Without you, would they have come out to kill me? No need to lie. You're disgusting. No need to find excuses, people now understand clearly what happened. If you want to kill me that bad, just come and attack me directly. The Yang clan is such a great clan, said Lin Feng mockingly. Chapter 979. Silver Wings Battle. Lin Feng's laugh pierced through people's eardrums. Yang Zilan wasn't smiling anymore though, he was furious. The Yang clan is quite shameless. How could they do such a thing? Whispered many people. Lin Feng had saved Yang Ziyi and now the Yang clan wanted to kill him. But he's ungrateful too, why would he take their items, especially a precious boat? Even if the boat was broken, I don't think the Yang clan would have given it to him. People were whispering and gossiping. The Yang clan was prestigious in the Bahuang province. People respected and admired them. Even though he had rescued Yang Ziyi, taking their boat wasn't a good idea. In the world of strong cultivators, it's always better to be careful, sighed some people. Lin Feng had been careless. He had saved Yang Ziyi because he was nice, but he hadn't planned the rest wisely. Brother Lin, what are you talking about? You misunderstood us, so how can you talk that way? Said Yang Zilan. Everybody knew Lin Feng was right, but at the same time, they thought that offending the Yang clan wasn't a good idea. Lin Feng was going to talk, but Chongqi talked first. Is that so? Since we misunderstood you and since you want to show us your gratefulness for having saved Yang Ziyi, then I think that a ring with 1,000 abstruse crystals and a map of the northern part of Bahuang province would be fair. Chongqi smiled coldly, but everybody else was speechless. How audacious! 1,000 abstruse crystals? That was extremely expensive, however, for the Yang clan that wasn't too much. Lin Feng smiled indifferently. Indeed, Yang Zilan kept trying to find excuses. Now he could pay for his excuses. What? You said it yourself, you're very grateful. Unless you think your sister's life is worth 1,000 abstruse crystals? Continued Chongqi. Yang Zilan started shaking from the anger. His eyes twinkled, but he smiled and said, What do you think, Brother Lin? I think it's fair. If you give us the abstruse crystals and the map, you won't owe us anything anymore, said Lin Feng indifferently. All right. Take the map first, said Yang Zilan, throwing a jade ring to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took it and then Yang Zilan continued, I don't have 1,000 abstruse crystals. I need to go back to the clan to get them. Wait for me here. How long? Asked Chongqi coldly. Yang Zilan was getting angrier and angrier. He glanced at Chongqi and said, 2 hours? If you haven't made your way back by then, we will come to the conclusion that you didn't come back on purpose and that all you just said were empty words, said Chongqi coldly. All right, I'll be back, said Yang Zilan. He then turned to Yang Zizi, come with me. Then both of them left. After they left, Chou Junluo and the others walked towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at them. Then he glanced at the siblings who were leaving and thought, how shameless. If you come back in 2 hours and that your friends haven't killed me, I wonder how you'll react. Everybody understood what was going on. Yang Zilan was just looking for an excuse to give Chou Junluo and the others time to kill Lin Feng, that's all. Otherwise, why would he have asked Yang Ziyi to come back with him? If a member of the Yang clan had stayed, Chou Junluo and the others wouldn't be able to kill Lin Feng. That would show that they were ungrateful. Even though everybody perfectly knew that it was an excuse and that Yang Zilan was just pretending, at least the Yang clan could still pretend they didn't know. Master Yang just left, what are you guys doing? Asked Lin Feng with a cold smile. We don't care. It has nothing to do with the Yang clan. You and your animal humiliated us, we'll teach you a lesson now, said Chou Junluo, releasing silver energies again. You still need more excuses, said Lin Feng. He then added, you're rich and noble disciples and yet act like slaves for other people. You're nothing more than animals. Come and attack all of you at the same time. Ridiculous, I don't need any help to kill a cultivator of the second Tianqi layer, said Chou Junluo in a despising way. He then said to the others, look at me guys. I'll teach you how to end a life in just a second. That guy is trash, Brother Junluo can take care of it. Let's watch, said the others. Kill him, I've never seen such an arrogant cultivator of the second Tianqi layer. Ridiculous. They all despised Lin Feng. Was it that easy to kill Lin Feng though? Chou Junluo looked at Lin Feng and said coldly, I've rarely seen such idiots. If he wants to bring about his own destruction, then I'll help him. Then Chou Junluo released even more dazzling energies towards Lin Feng. Killing you is as easy as crushing an ant. Chou Junluo raised his hand and sharp silver wings appeared. As Chou Junluo attacked, Lin Feng released his own sharp, ice-cold energies. Lin Feng seemed like he was unsheathing a sword. Die, said Chou Junluo. His wings appeared in front of Lin Feng. Slash slash, whistling sounds spread in the air. A sword appeared in front of Lin Feng and energies rolled in the air. The sound of the sword colliding with the wings made metallic ring. At the same time, Chou Junluo released his spirit. Thousands of sharp silver lights shot towards Lin Feng. The atmosphere seemed to be riddled with gaping wounds. Silver Wing's spirit, it's so powerful, thought the crowd gasping with amazement. But the lights hurt their eyes as they could barely look. People who were too close were even suffocating. Boom boom boom. The silver lights crashed onto the sword. The sword stayed there though, it was becoming even more dazzling. Gotcha! More metallic sounds were heard. Chou Junluo flapped his silver wings and appeared in front of Lin Feng. He looked at Lin Feng in a despising way and said, "You're an insect, the world will be better off with you dead, so die." He flapped his wings and lights emerged from his wing's spirit and moved towards Lin Feng. "Your cultivation level is higher than mine. Is that you acting proud?" said Lin Feng coldly. The earth and sky became cold as snowflakes started floating around. Lin Feng released bestial qi and suddenly looked like a beast. "Empty space bestial illusion technique," said Lin Feng in a deep voice. In a flash, he disappeared in a snowy path in front of him. Chapter 980. Better Together. Chou Junluo was surprised. He couldn't reach Lin Feng. What was going on? The crowd was surprised too. Lin Feng was supposed to die, but what were those bestial lights? "Die!" shouted Chou Junluo furiously. His wings shot towards Lin Feng again, but stopped in front of him. Slash slash. The silver wings turned into blades. Chou Junluo was trying to cut everything around Lin Feng. His energies were so oppressive that the crowd was suffocating. However, his energies split in two and moved past Lin Feng. Had Lin Feng turned into an illusion? Lin Feng was still in his snowy tunnel, but he looked like an animal now. "We can't kill him." Chou Junluo was furious. Was Lin Feng in an illusion? How is that possible? He has just broken through to the second Tianqi layer. How could he use illusion skills? The crowd was gasping with amazement. The 5 young men were even more dumbfounded. Lin Feng was in an illusion. Only extremely strong cultivators could cast illusion spells. How could they kill Lin Feng now? Chou Junluo pulled a long face. His silver wings were still attacking Lin Feng. But just as before, Lin Feng seemed unaffected. Lin Feng stared back at him coldly. "Die." Sword chi emerged from Lin Feng's hands and popped out of the illusion. "Busy." Chou Junluo moved with incredible speed and dodged the attack. How fast, thought Lin Feng. Chou Junluo then immediately came back. This time his silver wings were dazzling. More so now than before. "That's useless," said Lin Feng with a cold smile. He stepped back into his snowy tunnel. The silver wings slipped on the illusion again. "I don't think I can't kill you," said Chou Junluo pulling a long face. "Die die die," shouted Chou Junluo. His voice was so loud that it echoed all around. He was furious. Lin Feng's cultivation level was low. He probably couldn't use that kind of spell for too long. The crowd looked at the dazzling silver wings. Lin Feng's illusion was starting to crack. If Lin Feng hadn't hidden in the tunnel, he would have died in a second. Lin Feng raised his head and saw a silver light. Then he looked at Chou Junluo. Lin Feng smiled coldly, his face looked like an animal now. The snowy path slowly led towards Chou Junluo. Chou Junluo frowned but didn't try to escape. That happened very quickly as suddenly, he was in the snowy tunnel with Lin Feng. "You allowed me inside. You will die now," said Chou Junluo coldly. He opened his wings and threw himself at Lin Feng. "Roar!" Lin Feng roared. The earth and sky shook violently. The tunnel seemed like it was going to collapse under this pressure. Chou Junluo was suddenly petrified. It felt like he was in hell, as if he was being chased by a demonic beast. How come I sense demon energy? Thought Cho Jun Luo. Lin Feng was sometimes a beast, sometimes a demon, sometimes a human. What was going on? He opened his wings and continued attacking. He had to destroy those demon energies first. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered as he took out a stone which contained a terrifying sealing strength. If you don't die today, at least I'll peel your skin off, said Lin Feng coldly. His demon seal stone shook violently as its strength surrounded Cho Jun Luo. Cho Jun Luo's silver wings moved towards the demon seal stone. Was he insane? Did he think he could destroy a demon seal stone? Seal! Boom boom! Demon marks appeared on the silver wings and its lights faded. Cho Jun Luo frowned. It was as if his wings were stuck in some kind of glue. It seemed like he would have to rely on other skills to attack Lin Feng. Seal! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. He used his demon seal stone again and rumbling sounds spread in the air. It felt like his wings were being crushed by two mountains. Arr! Cho Jun Luo shouted furiously. You want to die, shouted Cho Jun Luo furiously. He opened his third eye and dazzling silver lights shot out towards Lin Feng. That silver light quickly turned into a pair of silver wings as well. Cho Jun Luo's godly awareness was just like his spirit. I can seal your spirit in your godly awareness, said Lin Feng with a cold smile. He released demon sealing strength again. Cho Jun Luo looked like an enraged beast. How come Lin Feng had so many demon seal stones? Seal, said Lin Feng. Cho Jun Luo was petrified as he recalled his godly awareness. However, the demon seal stone continued moving towards him and crashed onto his forehead. Now he could barely move. Lin Feng rose up and condensed energies into his hands. Punch! Lin Feng condensed strength and demon sealing strength into his fist. Die! Cho Jun Luo looked like a stone as he tried using his winged spirit again. But he was oppressed by the strength of 3 demon seal stones. How? Said Lin Feng. He punched Cho Jun Luo, but it felt like he was punching a stone block. What kind of spirit is that? Lin Feng was annoyed. That enemy was difficult to deal with. The illusion disappeared. Cho Jun Luo had been crushed into the ground by Lin Feng's punch, and a large crater appeared around Cho Jun Luo. Everybody was astonished. What an incredible fight. Cho Jun Luo was incredibly strong. Even Lin Feng's illusion had disappeared. Even with 3 demon seal stones, Cho Jun Luo was still fighting. You're genius, didn't you say you'd kill me in a second? Why are you still here, hiding in a crater like a turtle in its shell? Said Lin Feng mockingly. Lin Feng then punched the demon seal stone which forced Cho Jun Luo out of the crater. You're shameless. Surprisingly, you actually used demon seal stones, said Jiang Ning. 30 minutes had passed and Cho Jun Luo hadn't managed to kill Lin Feng. 1.5 hours later, Yang Zilan would come back, so they had to hurry and kill Lin Feng now. What you mean to say is that I should only use the strength of the 2nd Tianqi layer to fight cultivators of the 5th Tianqi layer, said Lin Feng glancing at Jiang Ning. You can attack together if you want, that'd be more fair. Chapter 981. Blood strength. You can attack together if you want, that'd be better. Jiang Ning was speechless. Lin Feng was asking them to attack together. If 2 cultivators of the 5th Tianqi layer fought against a cultivator of the 2nd Tianqi layer, that would be a complete humiliation for them. The Silver Wings cultivator had already lost face. He had used his spirit, which counted as a special attack, and hadn't managed to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng understood empty space spells and had demon seal stones. Killing Lin Feng wasn't so easy. Gotcha! A sound spread in the air. Cho Jun Luo was trying to flap his wings, but Lin Feng smiled coldly and walked forwards. He coldly looked at the wings. Lin Feng shook his hand and a stone appeared. That stone became bigger and bigger, like a mountain on Lin Feng's hand. The crowd was surprised again. Another treasure? Was Lin Feng going to use that stone to crush Cho Jun Luo? A strong wind started blowing. The crowd sensed the strength Lin Feng was condensing in the stone. It contained the strength of the earth and sky. Lin Feng raised his Tianxian stone and calmly sensed the energies inside of it. The strength of the earth and sky were very mysterious. Lin Feng's robe violently fluttered in the wind. Lin Feng then took the 3 demon seal stones back from the silver wings. Gotcha! Cho Jun Luo opened his wings again and saw Lin Feng above him. He was in the air and was smiling at him in a bestial way with a mountain in his hand. Lin Feng continued walking towards him. The strength of the mountain was already oppressing him. He could barely move his wings. Boom boom boom. Things looked bad for Chou Junluo. Just try and dodge, shouted Lin Feng. Fissures appeared in the ground as the Tianxian stone fell from the sky. Kacha boom boom boom. An explosion sounded as the mountain fell on the silver wings. The ground exploded and a gigantic crater appeared. Fissures appeared all around and covered a huge distance. Observers jumped away to avoid falling in the valley-like fissures. There was a gigantic hole where Chou Junluo was before. Lin Feng rose up in the air, still holding his stone. He coldly looked at the crater. There was no sound coming from the hole. Jiangning and the others were wondering where their friend was. Was he okay? A silver light appeared and streaked across the sky. Chou Junluo then appeared. His wings were wide open. His clothes were completely torn apart, and he was soaked in blood. Chou Junluo stared at Lin Feng with murder in his eyes. Your wings are really solid, said Lin Feng coldly. Chou Junluo was beat up, but his wings didn't seem hurt. I will kill you, said Chou Junluo. Lin Feng frowned and smiled. You've been saying that the whole time. Let's try again. I will show you what strength is. Strength is when you don't rely on treasures to fight, said Chou Junluo. Suddenly he released blood strength like a furious ocean. What an incredible blood strength, thought the crowd. A strong wind started blowing and emitted whistling sounds. Chou Junluo was suddenly surrounded by a very sharp qi. He opened his silver wings again and started flapping them very quickly. His wings created a wind that blew hundreds of meters around. His spirit was extremely powerful thanks to his blood strength. Get back now, shouted many people while running away. Chou Junluo was furious. Lin Feng, a cultivator of the second Tianqi layer, had humiliated him and even injured him. He was covered with blood now. Lin Feng looked at him indifferently. That's blood strength. Cultivators who had strong parents have a better blood than others, and de facto a better spirit. Killing ordinary people of the same level is easy with a good blood strength. With everything I've learned, killing ordinary people of the 5th Tianqi layer is easy, but Chou Junluo is no ordinary cultivator, thought Lin Feng, sensing the strong wind. Lin Feng could kill Chou Junluo if he used his full strength, but there were some tricks he couldn't use easily or carelessly. He had just arrived in Bahuang province. If he didn't have any problems with the Yang clan, he wouldn't have gotten himself into this mess. Lin Feng had saved Yang Ziyi and now people wanted to kill him. He had no choice but to fight. The crowd looked at Lin Feng. They didn't know who he was or where he was from, but he was a good fighter. Lin Feng looked like a beast. His robe was fluttering in the wind, and his qi was incredible. He was a real genius. However, what could he do against Chou Junluo's blood strength now? You have some demon seal stones. Unfortunately for you, they will become mine now, said Chou Junluo. His wind became even stronger. Lin Feng shook his hand and snowflakes appeared again. He was using his empty space bestial illusion technique again. You have only broken through to the second Tianqi layer. Your illusion spells can't handle my attack, said Chou Junluo. Besides, even if I can't break it, I don't think you can hold out for that long. Lin Feng smiled in a bestial way and said, You're very confident. Illusion spells can be broken, but I don't think you can break mine. Lin Feng used Linglong's holy celestial qi to cast the illusion spell this time. Chou Junluo couldn't break it. On top of that, holding the spell for 2 hours wasn't a problem for him. But he need to hide the whole time anyways. Chou Junluo was too confident in himself. Chapter 982. You can't. His silver wind was becoming even scarier. With the sun reflecting off of it, it looked like a silver rain. You think I can't break it? Said Chou Junluo with a cold smile. Let's try then. He flapped his silver wings and created tornadoes all around. Slash slash slash, sharp sounds spread in the air. The crowd was running even farther away. They were already very far now, but the qi was so sharp that they couldn't stand it. Large blocks of stone were flying around now. With just that wind, the dust and the stones flying around, the crowd couldn't see Lin Feng and Chou Junluo anymore. He was flapping his wings so fast that they looked like an illusion. Chou Junluo looked proud. He was looking down at Lin Feng in a despising way. Let's see how long you can hold out. I'm sure you will die soon, said Chou Junluo coldly. Lin Feng was definitely going to die. Lin Feng's heart was pounding inside his snowy tunnel. Chou Junluo was really strong. Like Prince Tianlin, he had received teachings from a Zun cultivator. He also had a powerful blood strength and spirit. But Prince Tianlin had only broken through to the 3rd Tianqi layer, not the 5th like Chou Junluo. Yang Zilan had the blood of the Yangshi clan and was a man. He must have had a lot of women, so his blood must be even more powerful, thought Lin Feng watching Chou Junluo. There was also that guy, the one who wanted to rank first amongst Tian-level cultivators at Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's recruitment process, the Xian Yuanshi prince. He had imperial blood and was probably incredible as well. Unfortunately, you won't be able to kill me, said Lin Feng coldly while staring down Chou Junluo. Is that so? Silver wings kill, said Chou Junluo. He attacked the snowy tunnel with his wings directly. The tunnel shook violently. Chou Junluo was so strong that he had managed to make the tunnel shake. You poor cultivator. You will never understand what it's like to have a strong blood spirit. Even if you practice cultivation to the best of your abilities, you will always remain at the bottom of the cultivation world. You will realize that there are always cultivators who are stronger than you, said Chou Junluo calmly. He was trying to destabilize Lin Feng's focus. However, Lin Feng just smiled and remained determined. Chou Junluo's threats didn't affect him. Lin Feng was determined to become stronger and stronger. There are many people who are stronger than me, but you are not one of them, said Lin Feng indifferently. He then added, since I started practicing cultivation, I've never been afraid of people who are at the same level as me. Even with the strength of the 5th Tianqi layer and a powerful blood strength, you still haven't managed to kill me. If you were at the same level as me, I wouldn't even look at you. Even now, you are nothing compared to me. Lin Feng shook his hand inside his snowy tunnel and unsheathed a sword. That sword was sharp and seemed to absorb light. It emitted lights which looked like stars. It seemed like he was going to crush his own tunnel with that sword. Even in the middle of those silver lights, it still looked impressive. A treasure again. Chou Junluo looked at Lin Feng's sword. Another treasure? He couldn't sense the sword energies because Lin Feng was in his snowy tunnel, but it looked precious. Lin Feng had used 3 demon seal stones in his Tianxian stone. How many treasures did Lin Feng have? Recall. Lin Feng stopped using his empty space bestial illusion technique. His snowy tunnel disappeared and Lin Feng appeared in the middle of the hurricane. However, thanks to his sword, the wind was weakened around him. There was a type of small world around that sword. What an incredible sword, thought Chou Junluo. His wind couldn't affect the space around Lin Feng's sword. Die! Chou Junluo's wings moved towards Lin Feng without hesitation. Lin Feng was calmly standing there as he started releasing his level 7 sword intent, and instilled his strength into the Tianji sword. He shook his hand and buzzing sounds spread in the air. The atmosphere then became calm again around him as the wind couldn't reach his Tianji sword. Chou Junluo was annoyed. What kind of sword was that? And how could he deal with it? Lin Feng had so many precious items. You're using items again, said Chou Junluo mockingly. I have many treasures to fight you with. However, you're a cultivator of the 5th Tianqi layer, and you're using your blood strength. You're incompetent and I don't respect you. Lin Feng mocked as he shook his sword and starlights appeared. They slowly broke the wind energies around him. Die! Shouted Chou Junluo annoyed. His blood strength was emitting furious whistling sounds. His wings were extremely wide and sharp. At the same time, Lin Feng slowly raised his sword. It contained incredible energies, both pure and dazzling. Slash slash. It looked like his Tianji sword was dancing. It left beautiful trails behind it. Lin Feng was cutting through the wind as if he was chopping vegetables. The crowd was captivated by the battle. They were all trying to understand why Lin Feng wasn't dying from the wind. Even with precious items, it was hard to imagine that Lin Feng could resist such attacks. How come Chou Junluo hadn't managed to kill him yet? There isn't much time left, thought Jiang Ning while frowning. He could sense Chou Junluo's strong wind. How come Lin Feng was still alive? Jiang Ning couldn't believe his eyes, the others either. They wanted to see Lin Feng die. Chapter 983. Treading on Chou Junluo's wind was being destroyed by Lin Feng's sword. What a high-level sword, thought Chou Junluo. There were mysterious marks on the sword which seemed to be protecting Lin Feng. Die! Shouted Lin Feng in a deep voice. A dazzling dragon appeared in the middle of that wind. Chou Junluo flapped his wings even faster, but the wind faded immediately in the middle of that starlight. VZ! Chou Junluo jumped back and released a silver light to block the sword lights. However, the sword lights were faster. His silver light turned into two beautiful glimmers. Silver wings. Chou Junluo's facial expression changed drastically. He added even more blood strength to his attack. He condensed his wind energies, trying to protect himself. He closed his wings to wrap himself up in them. Slash slash. Explosion sounded as his protective layer was broken. There were cracks everywhere in those wings. Blood appeared on his wings and Chou Junluo was looking desperate. Slash slash. The sword lights were slowly breaking Chou Junluo's wing spirit. Finally it disappeared. Chou Junluo, wrapped up in his wings and soaked in blood, fell from the sky. He fell to the ground with a loud thud. Lin Feng came out from the silver wind and didn't have his Tianji sword out anymore. The crowd looked at Lin Feng. Then they looked at Chou Junluo on the ground. What's going on? Lin Feng wasn't dead and Chou Junluo had collapsed? How had Lin Feng done that? He had only broken through to the second Tianqi layer. Jiang Ning and the others were dumbstruck. They knew how strong Chou Junluo was, and his incredible silver wings spirit. However, he hadn't managed to kill Lin Feng. He wasn't even able to hurt him. It seemed like he had almost died. If he hadn't protected himself with his blood strength, he would be dead right now. Lin Feng looked at the silver wings covered with blood and swore. Those wings were really solid. That was a hard battle. Lin Feng landed on the wings and stomped on them, pushing him into the ground. The crowd shivered. Lin Feng was stepping on a cultivator of the fifth Tianqi layer, who possessed a powerful blood spirit. The crowd could only imagine how humiliating and infuriating that would be. You make other people feel weak. You think you can easily kill anyone. But you see? I'm stepping on your friend. Does anyone else want to try me as well? Said Lin Feng mockingly, looking at Jiang Ning and the others. Jiang Ning said nothing. He previously thought it would be easy to kill Lin Feng. Yang Zilan thought the same. That's why he had said he would come back 2 hours later. That was a safe bet to kill Lin Feng. Now their 2 hours were almost up. Not only had Lin Feng survived, but now he was standing on top of Chou Junluo. Little boy move. He insulted me too. I need to teach him a lesson as well, said Chongqi. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. Chongqi liked to push it. Lin Feng moved away. Chongqi smiled coldly while looking at those bleeding wings. He said mockingly, "You thought you'd be safe wrapped up in your wings? Let's have some roasted wings for lunch." He opened his mouth and spat out fire and the blood on the wings started boiling. The fire was getting hotter and hotter. Chongqi's eyes were twinkling as he made fun of Chou Junluo. Lin Feng raised his head and said, while gazing into the distance, "It's been 2 hours already." Lin Feng barely finished talking before two silhouettes appeared in the distance, Yang Zilan and his sister. Yang Zilan was smiling when he arrived, but his smile turned rigid when he saw Chou Junluo's wings burning on the ground. Lin Feng hadn't died and on top of that, he was humiliating Chou Junluo. "Brother Lin, what's going on?" said Yang Zilan coldly. "Give me the abstruse crystals, you're late," said Lin Feng, ignoring Yang Zilan's question. Yang Zilan couldn't say anything. Chongqi was getting his revenge. He could only give Lin Feng the crystals he owed him. Yang Zilan remained silent and took out a ring. He threw at Lin Feng and said, "You can count them. There should be 1,000. 1,000. The crowd was envious. Lin Feng examined the content of the ring and counted the crystals. "Brother Lin, what are you doing?" said Yang Zilan. He was furious when he saw Lin Feng count the crystals. "Don't you trust me?" "You're right, I don't trust you at all," said Lin Feng, laughing. He put all the crystals in his own ring and threw the other ring away on the ground. "You're shameless and not trustworthy. We all saw untrustworthy you were with your 2 hours. No need to keep pretending now," said Lin Feng with a resplendent smile. Don't tell me that you didn't say you'd come back 2 hours later just to give them time to kill me. You didn't want to give me those abstruse crystals. You were thinking, oh, Lin Feng should die for asking me for abstruse crystals. You intended to go home and stay there not to lose face while your friends killed me. Anyways, thank you for your crystals. Brother Lin, there are some things which are better to keep to yourself, said Yang Zilan. No need to threaten me. Even since I brought your sister back, you've wanted to kill me. I don't know why, maybe because you wanted to have your boat back. Now your plan is ruined. I can't do anything against your clan anyway. I can only say a few words. I don't like people like you. And you, Miss Yang, said Lin Feng looking at Yang Ziyi. He smiled indifferently and said, you helped me in the past, so I helped you too. I came to the Yang clan because I wanted to be friends with you. After all, we've gone through hardships together on the Huang Sea. Unfortunately, you made me understand that we belong to two different worlds. As my social status isn't as high as yours, we can't be friends. Thank you, now I'm off. Chapter 984. Talented cultivators. After that, Lin Feng and Chongqi left. Yang Ziyi looked at Lin Feng. She regretted what had happened. She hadn't known Lin Feng for long now, but in that little time she found him to be brave and honest. Lin Feng wasn't interested in her blood strength at all, unlike what her brother had said. If Lin Feng really harbored evil intentions, he would have raped and killed her in the middle of the sea. He didn't need to take her back. However, she regretted what happened for only a few seconds. She remembered she had a high social status and that her clan was rich and powerful. She didn't need to be friends with someone like Lin Feng. This time Lin Feng had won, but her brother wouldn't let him off so easily. Lin Feng would die soon. She shouldn't regret being friends with someone who was going to die soon. She would regret it if someday Lin Feng had a higher social status than her. But that day would never come. Yang Zilan calmed down. He didn't chase Lin Feng. You helped Ziyi and we paid you back for that. However, you're going to pay for what you did to the Yang clan, said Yang Zilan. Lin Feng couldn't hear that, but everybody around heard. They needed a reason to kill Lin Feng. Next time we see each other, you'll die, said Yang Zilan coldly. He looked at the crowd and said, if you bring his corpse back to the Yang clan, we will give you a woman from the clan so that you can mix your blood with ours. The crowd suddenly looked very interested. Blood strength was very useful. Cho Jun Luo had demonstrated how useful it could be. If he hadn't used his blood strength, he would have died. After that, many people rose up in the air and started chasing Lin Feng. Even if they had compassion for Lin Feng, they still wanted to kill him. Having a woman from the Yang clan was too tempting. They couldn't catch up with Lin Feng though. Lin Feng was using his boat to fly across Tianyuan City. I helped you confront those people. How do you intend to thank me? Said Chongqi nonchalantly. Except at the end when you spat out fire at that guy, you didn't do much, said Lin Feng. You're lucky you have that void fire. You haven't really used your fire in a battle yet. I wish I had seen you fight that guy. It wouldn't be a problem to burn you alive, you know, said Chongqi. Why don't you fight? If you battle more, you'll probably become stronger, said Lin Feng. Chongqi was becoming stronger much faster than Lin Feng even though he didn't fight. Was he slowly assimilating the void fire? I'm an emperor. It's normal for me to become stronger faster. Why don't I fight? It's because I don't need to. I want you to become stronger, so you need to fight. Strong people humiliate you all the time right now. Back in my day, such people were nobodies. If someday you become stronger, those people will never humiliate you again. That girl would have even offered herself to you. She wouldn't look at you in such an indifferent way, said Chongqi looking at the sky. Chongqi had a way of avoiding questions. I would be curious to see their face if I became really strong, said Lin Feng laughing. He then said to Chongqi, this boat is extremely useful. If we don't want to fight, we can easily run away. Enough with the nonsense. If you're truly in danger, I'll help you, said Chongqi proudly. You could die too though, said Lin Feng while kicking him. Chongqi roared and spat out flames. A cold wind started blowing in a small village in the northern part of Bahuang province. A boat appeared in the air. Chongqi opened his eyes and had a strange facial expression on his face. Little boy, wake up, Chongqi shouted. Lin Feng opened his eyes and glanced at Chongqi. There were holes in Lin Feng's clothes from the flames on Qiong Qi's body. How come it's so cold? Asked Lin Feng confused. Look at the map. Where are we? Said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng nodded and took out the jade stone with the map. The northern part of Ba Huang province appeared in his head. Lin Feng said, we're in Black Crow Village, not far from where we want to go. 3 more days left to travel. Said Lin Feng. Their destination was the place where Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu were organizing the recruitment process. Black Crow Village. Qiong Qi's eyes were twinkling. It's an ancient village where many talented cultivators reside. Put the boat away. Many talented cultivators? Lin Feng obeyed. He jumped on Qiong Qi's back and they flew down. Of course, they weren't as fast as the boat. Why do I feel so cold? Asked Lin Feng. Do the strong cultivators of the village release ice qi? No, it's an ancient town. No strong cultivator can release ice energy on the streets like this, replied Qiong Qi. Lin Feng didn't understand. Little boy, good things are happening. Look above you, said Qiong Qi. A silhouette passed in front of the bright moon and landed in a pitch-black place. Lin Feng was surprised. Another silhouette passed in front of the moon and landed, just like the first one. Qiong Qi looked at the moon. More silhouettes appeared and landed. Lin Feng was feeling colder and colder. Are they human beings? Asked Lin Feng. I don't know, said Qiong Qi, shaking his head. The wind was blowing as more silhouettes passed in front of the moon and then disappeared. How fast, thought Lin Feng. They seemed to be as fast as his boat. They were probably high-level Zun cultivators. Seemed like Qiong Qi was right. There were many strong cultivators living there. Chapter 985. Dragon chant in the middle of night. It seems like something is happening here, thought Qiong Qi, seemingly excited. Qiong Qi likes it when unusual things happen, thought Lin Feng. Qiong Qi simply thought of such things as opportunities. Brother, what was that shadow? It looks scary, said someone at that moment. The voice came from behind Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned around. Lin Feng recognized the 2 people behind him. A handsome young man and a beautiful young woman. Their qi was incredible. Brother Hua, said Lin Feng. The other one was surprised. He glanced at Lin Feng but didn't recognize him. Then Hua Zhangfeng looked at Qiong Qi and suddenly looked very surprised. Brother Lin. He knew Lin Feng with his other face. Indeed, said Lin Feng, nodding. Hua Zhangfeng was very surprised. Brother Lin, I knew you'd come to Ba Huang province, but I didn't imagine that we'd meet here, said Hua Zhangfeng, smiling wholeheartedly. They had met in Ganyu, so meeting in a village in Ba Huang province was a coincidence. After Lin Feng left the great sect meeting, he had heard a lot about Lin Feng. He hadn't thought the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect would organize a meeting to kill the young man he had befriended. What a coincidence. Where are you going, Brother Hua? Asked Lin Feng. Here. Black Crow Village, said Hua Zhangfeng. Lin Feng was surprised. Was something happening in that small village? Brother Lin, I heard about what happened in Tianqi. You're amazing. You cut off the Xiao sect patriarch's arm and forced an entire army to run away. It's a pity that I couldn't witness that, said Hua Zhangfeng, laughing. He hadn't participated in the Battle of Tianqi because Yu Xiao and Prince Tianlin were there. Don't mention it, said Lin Feng, laughing. Don't mention it? Hua Zhangfeng laughed. Lin Feng had caused so many troubles at the great sect meeting. Then he had killed so many strong cultivators from Ganyu. Then, he disappeared in the middle of the crowd again. He had cast an illusion spell, disrupted the great sect meeting, injured so many people. Hua Zhangfeng hadn't forgotten about Lin Feng. By the way, Brother Hua, how come there are so many strong cultivators in Black Crow Village? Is anything happening? Asked Lin Feng. I know a few things about what is going on. There are many strong cultivators here. A few of my fellow disciples intended to join as well. Are you interested too? Said Hua Zhangfeng, smiling. I need to know what's going on before I can be interested. Some people heard dragon chants in the middle of the night, said Hua Zhangfeng. It wasn't a secret, many people had heard about that. Dragon chants in the middle of the night? Lin Feng asked. Dragons were considered as extremely rare and powerful beasts in the cultivation world. According to legends, dragons had the same status as emperors in the animal world. Can we be sure that they were dragon chants? Said Lin Feng. Many people heard the dragon chants at night, we're quite sure, said Hua Zhangfeng. Besides, everybody knows where they came from. Everybody knows where they come from? Lin Feng didn't know. Was a dragon going to appear? No wonder so many strong cultivators had come. My fellow disciples and I came here out of curiosity because it's on our way. Strong cultivators came here as well. Some of my fellow disciples are extremely strong too. I'm not much use here, said Hua Zhangfeng laughing. He could only observe if a dragon appeared. Lin Feng nodded and remembered Hua Zhangfeng was also an imperial cultivation disciple. He was probably from another part of Ba Huang province. Brother Lin, look over there, said Hua Zhangfeng pointing at something. Lin Feng gazed into the distance and saw a tower. That's the Black Crow Tower. It attracts many crows, hence the name. There's black water all around it which contains desolate qi, I don't know why. To get to the Black Crow Tower you have to cross that water. The dragon chants are coming from that tower, said Hua Zhangfeng. Lin Feng was surprised. There was desolate qi in the water? The Huang Sea used to be a battlefield in the antiquity, and that water contains desolate qi. Could it have formed during battles in the antiquity as well? Whispered Lin Feng. Maybe, said Hua Zhangfeng smiling. Some people think the same way as you, but some others say that strong cultivators who understand desolate qi came here to practice cultivation and polluted the water. These are only guesses, of course. By the way, Brother Lin, you crossed the Huang Sea, but since you took a boat, you didn't sense the desolate qi. The desolate qi from the water isn't as dense as the Huang Sea. Let's go, I'll show you, said Hua Zhangfeng. It seemed obvious that Lin Feng had taken a boat to cross the sea. Lin Feng couldn't tell Hua Zhangfeng that he had learned how to use desolate qi. He couldn't tell anyone that. Awesome, let's go, said Lin Feng smiling. Both of them chatted and laughed while walking. It didn't take long before they arrived at the foot of the tower. The water was really dark but not like the Huang Sea, and it did contain desolate qi. That qi didn't affect Lin Feng at all though. If he opened his bestial eye, he could swallow it easily. Hua Zhangfeng shook his hand and a boat appeared on the water. Brother Lin, after you, said Hua Zhangfeng. The siblings Lin Feng and Qiong Qi jumped on the boat to sail across. Even though that desolate qi is not as strong as the one in the Huang Sea, it still affects cultivation. Cultivators of the bottom of the Tianqi layer won't come here. Of course, Brother Lin, you are different. If that desolate qi was a bit stronger, maybe it would affect you then, said Hua Zhangfeng when he saw that Lin Feng was smiling indifferently. The same applies to you, said Lin Feng laughing. Another silhouette appeared and flew across. Hua Zhangfeng looked at that person and joked in a low voice. Why not drink a sip of desolate qi when you're bored? The boat was slowly going across. Lin Feng lied down and took this time to relax. Woo! A sound spread in the air. Lin Feng suddenly stood up, startled. His blood started boiling as if it was going to explode. Brother Lin, what's wrong? Asked Hua Zhangfeng. It seemed like Lin Feng hadn't heard him. His blood was boiling. His body felt like it was going to explode. A dragon chant in the middle of the night. Chapter 986. The Crow's Caw When the Moon Goes Down. Lin Feng looked at Hua Zhangfeng. Lin Feng didn't understand what was going on. Lin Feng looked at the siblings. They were both looking at him strangely. They didn't understand. They didn't hear it, thought Lin Feng. He was the only one who had heard the dragon chant. Yindi, did you hear anything? Asked Lin Feng using telepathy. He wanted to make sure. Qiong Qi looked at him and said, I haven't heard anything. What did you hear, little boy? The dragon chant, said Lin Feng. He had nothing to hide from Qiong Qi. Qiong Qi was surprised Lin Feng had heard a dragon chant. It's nothing. I suddenly thought about something important, that's all, said Lin Feng to Hua Zhangfeng smiling. He didn't want to tell them he had heard the dragon chant. It was better to keep something secret. He trusted that they wouldn't ask anyways. Hua Zhangfeng was skeptical, but thought it wouldn't be polite to ask for more information. He just looked back at the tower. There were many people flocking to the tower. Little boy, are you sure you really heard a dragon chant? Asked Qiong Qi in a grave and serious way. Dragons were imperial creatures. I'm not sure, said Lin Feng shaking his head. You're not sure, asked Chongqi. I've never heard anything like that, so I can't be sure. But my body started shaking and my blood was boiling. It felt like my body was going to explode. It felt like blood strength, said Lin Feng. You've never had that kind of feeling before? Never, replied Lin Feng immediately. Your blood is very weak, said Chongqi. Because Lin Feng's blood wasn't strong enough, the dragon chant had caused a painful reaction in Lin Feng's body. Even those who had poor blood could have powerful reactions if the cause was intense enough. What type is your blood strength? Asked Chongqi. I don't know. I've heard that my mother's ancestor was a Zun cultivator who had swallowed the strength of a 9-headed dragon. Then, he turned it into blood strength before transmitting it to us as the 9-headed dragon spirit, replied Lin Feng. The 9-headed dragon? Chongqi's eyes were twinkling. No wonder your blood is so weak. Your ancestor was a Zun cultivator. But since you have the 9-headed dragon blood strength, you reacted to the dragon chant. However, it wasn't a long chant, because anyone can hear those. Oh, Lin Feng understood. A small shout like that had already caused him to react in quite a strong way though. Lin Feng looked at the Black Crow Tower. The cultivators who were going there had probably reacted like him, but they were probably stronger than him and didn't react so strongly. With a strong blood, cultivators could do things like Prince Tianlin and Chou Jun Luo, like directly mixing their blood strength with their spirit. Brother Lin, something is happening, said Hua Zhangfeng. Indeed. Lin Feng nodded. Even more people were approaching. They had probably heard the dragon chant before, so they were going there now. Anything could happen, so people thought staying together was safer. Woo! Lin Feng started shaking and his blood started boiling again. Another dragon chant. That one was more intense than the one before. Lin Feng hid his reaction this time, so Hua Zhangfeng didn't notice anything. Brother Lin, there are so many strong cultivators going there. Should we go as well? Why not? Yes, let's go. Those strong cultivators don't care about us, said Lin Feng calmly, even though his heart was pounding violently. 2 dragon chants, was something happening? Zhangfeng, shouted someone at that moment. Lin Feng and Hua Zhangfeng raised their heads and saw several people who all looked extraordinary. Brothers, you're here already, said Hua Zhangfeng. Zhangfeng, there were 2 dragon chants. Something might happen. You should leave with your sister, it's too dangerous for you guys, said someone in the sky and then left. Hua Zhangfeng was surprised. 2 dragon chants? Hua Zhangfeng looked at Lin Feng. He was going to say something. Brother Hua, wouldn't it be a pity not to see what's going on there? Said Lin Feng with an indifferent smile. Of course, if you want to leave, I'll go alone. Haha, you're brave. How could I disappoint you? Said Hua Zhangfeng with a nice smile. They continued moving forwards. Lin Feng smiled but remained speechless. Lin Feng heard a 3rd dragon chant and his reaction was the same as before. Suddenly, the atmosphere became eerily calm. A pale light appeared. Lin Feng raised his head and saw people gathering in front of the moon. Kra, kra, crows cawed and flew away from the tower. What's going on? Said Hua Zhangfeng. What's wrong? Asked Lin Feng. Hua Zhangfeng looked at Lin Feng and said slowly, The crows caw when the moon goes down. The crows caw when the moon goes down? Lin Feng frowned. He didn't understand what Hua Zhangfeng meant. Brother Lin, when dragons chant in the middle of the night, it is an auspicious sign, it means good things will happen. When the crows caw when the moon goes down, it is an inauspicious sign, it means death, explained Hua Zhangfeng. He looked grave. Tonight, the dragons are chanting and the crows are cawing. That sounds like a battle between good and evil. I'm not familiar with those expressions, whispered Lin Feng. Could those expressions be taken seriously anyway? Indeed. In the past, people firmly believed those sayings. It's about cultivators fighting against the earth and sky, explained Hua Zhangfeng. Oh, it comes from the antiquity. 2 forces emerging from the night. Lin Feng looked at Chongqi. Indeed. Chongqi nodded. Even an emperor believed in those things. Lin Feng felt excited, impatient and scared at the same time. What was going to happen? At that moment, the boat arrived on the land surrounding the tower. There were so many strong cultivators gathered there. Chapter 987. Flowing backwards there were many other towers on the island, but the Black Crow Tower was at the center. At the top of the tower surrounding the Black Crow Tower were many extremely hard black stones. They were so hard that it would be difficult for Tian-level cultivators to break them. Lin Feng was near the river, observing from a distance. There were 100 people gathered all together. The fact that the crows were cawing didn't seem to scare the cultivators away. How could they miss an opportunity? Of course, they were all high-level Zun cultivators. Tian-level cultivators should stay below because nobody knew what was going to happen. They could just watch from the bottom and see if they could get lucky with some treasures, if there was even an opportunity. When the crows caw, bad luck is bound to appear, someone said from the distance. Several more people landed on the tower. 3 chance, yet you're still so calm. I admire you guys. The leader looked very young. His chi was unfathomable. Lin Feng frowned. That guy had the same smile as Yang Zilan. Brother Yang Zhan, you already started causing trouble even though you just arrived, someone said. Was that person a member of the Yang clan? Who's that guy, Brother Hua? Asked Lin Feng in a low voice. Yang Zhan from the Yang clan. He's a potential candidate to become the leader of the Yang clan in the future. Of course, there are other incredible cultivators our age in the Yang clan who could become leaders. They have to see how strong they will become in the future before deciding. There are many people in the Yang clan. Nobody can predict the future. But at this moment he's the best. Replied Hua Zhangfeng. What is his connection to Yang Zilan? Asked Lin Feng. His elder brother, but basically they're of the same generation. You've been here for a short time and have already made friends with the people from the Yang clan, I see. Said Hua Zhangfeng with a smile. Made friends? Lin Feng shook his head, but said nothing. No wonder Yang Zhan was considered the best for his age. Yang Zilan and he were of the same generation, but Yang Zhan had already broken through to the Zun Qi layer. Yang Zhan laughed. They hadn't waited for him. They started because of the crows, nothing more. 3 chants, should we attack? Asked Yang Zhan. 3 chants have been heard. The veins of the earth are strong enough now, let's start. But be careful not to damage the veins. Lin Feng frowned and whispered, why don't they start? What's the problem? Ignorant, said Chongqi in a despising way. He used telepathy to say, the earth has veins. The force of the earth and sky we use comes from those veins. That's a precious treasure the gods have given us. The chance of the dragon is a sign. Making the forces of the earth and sky unbalanced could lead to huge problems. I see, nodded Lin Feng. It was no wonder those strong cultivators were gathering, but not doing anything. The veins are solid enough now, so why not start? Shouted someone extremely loudly. That person then immediately landed on the Black Crow Tower, the highest one. What an arrogant guy, thought Lin Feng. Nobody was on the highest tower, not even Yang Zhan. The Black Crow Tower was the highest one, so it meant he despised everyone else. The most surprising thing was that that cultivator had only broken through to the Tianqi layer. They weren't even a Zun cultivator. Brother Xian Yan. Yang Zhan nodded at that guy. That guy was Xian Yuan. Xian Yuan looked at Yang Zhan and nodded indifferently. He was just being polite. Oh no, he's here too, thought many people. He wasn't a Zun cultivator, but he had amazing fighting abilities and his social status sufficed to scare people. Xian Yuan, sure. That's him, thought Lin Feng. He's the one who wants to rank first at Emperor Sure and Emperor Yu's recruitment process. He also wants to invite the 2 emperors to his wedding when he marries Yang Ziyi. They keep talking blah blah blah. When will they start, damn? Chongqi looked impatient. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. There were so many strong cultivators there. Lin Feng didn't feel safe. Lin Feng, when you start later, beware of those people and also of the guy on the northern tower, said Chongqi using telepathy. Lin Feng looked in the direction of the northern tower and saw a silhouette. It was a cultivator in a black robe, but it was as if nobody had noticed him. Lin Feng nodded. That person was probably very dangerous. Do you think I'm going to participate? Lin Feng rolled his eyes. Are you afraid? An emperor is helping you and will protect you. Don't forget that I'm with you at all times, said Chongqi. Lin Feng turned to Chongqi and pet his head with a smile. I'm just doing that so that nobody notices you, said Lin Feng. Chongqi could secretly protect Lin Feng. How kind. Will you? Asked Chongqi. Lin Feng smiled and said, I will. Since Chongqi could protect him, why not participate? Everybody, let's start, said Xianyuan. Everybody nodded. All right, let's start. Yangzhan added. Everybody nodded again and they started releasing qi. Break! Break! Shouted people furiously. The ground started shaking and a tsunami appeared on the gigantic river around the island. Busy. There were gigantic waves. Hua Zhangfeng used a technique so the water couldn't get into his boat. Lin Feng looked at the waves. Boom! The crowd saw some qi rise up and were surprised. A horrible shriek spread in the air. Up! Shouted Hua Zhangfeng loudly while taking his sister up into the air. Lin Feng and Chongqi rose up in the air too. The boat had broken in that exact moment. Ah no! A horrible shriek spread in the air. Lin Feng and Chongqi jumped onto a tower and looked at the river. Desolate qi was rising quickly. Desolate qi. The river was flowing backwards and that desolate qi was concerning. The crows caw when the moon goes down, thought the crowd. How inauspicious. Chapter 988. Dragon Palace. Many people who were standing above the river died when the waves touched them, especially those who were weaker. In just that moment, around 100 people died. The crows were still cawing. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions sounded as people realized something was appearing where the water was previously. The water was flowing away and something appeared on its bed. Lin Feng was at the top of a tower. Just like the others, the distance between the towers was increasing. They were moving in every direction. The desolate qi was becoming even more intense as this was happening. A terrifying cloud rose up in the air. People raised their heads. They felt they couldn't breathe anymore. A silhouette appeared in the sky. It was a gigantic pitch-black dragon. A dragon? There is an actual dragon. People's hearts were pounding. That was an imperial animal. Boom, boom. The water of the river was slowly being evacuated. But even though Lin Feng was standing on a tower, he was already at the same level as the water. The island with the towers had sunk about 100 meters into the water. The surroundings looked incredible yet inauspicious. It's not over. The tower on which Lin Feng was standing was still moving. It was sinking and moving outwards. At the beginning, the towers were lofty and not so far from each other. Now there was a huge distance between the towers. Boom, boom. An explosion sounded. A palace was slowly appearing from the water. It is a palace. Lin Feng was astonished. It was a gigantic dragon palace and there were carvings on it. It looked so old that Lin Feng couldn't guess its age. The carvings represented dragons. A dragon palace, said Chongqi. Lin Feng's heart started pounding. A dragon palace. It was actually a dragon palace. Lin Feng could only imagine what happened. The dragon palace had sunk in the water a long time ago, and people had forgotten about it since. Desolate qi. The crowd was speechless. Dragon chants, a dragon palace, desolate qi? It meant that the legends were wrong. The desolate qi had neither appeared because of battles in the antiquity, nor because strong cultivators had practiced cultivation there. It was because of the dragon palace. Lin Feng turned around and saw that after the water flowed out of the hole where the dragon palace had appeared, it stopped flowing out as if the towers had acted as plugs. No, someone else gave a horrible shriek. That person fell from the sky dead. They weren't able to withstand the power of the desolate qi either. Even though the desolate qi wasn't as intense as in the Huangxi, it was still desolate qi. Cultivators of the Tianqi layer who weren't strong could barely survive. Why is there desolate qi here? Why is there desolate qi in the Huangxi too? Whispered Lin Feng. Some people say that desolate qi is the most primitive form of destruction energies, replied Chongqi. You want me to put you back in the animal tower? Now that's fine. Don't worry about me, said Chongqi looking at the palace. He then said, don't do anything yet. That dragon was been attacked a lot in the past, that's why it's acting like that. Lin Feng nodded. He didn't need Chongqi to tell him that. There were so many strong cultivators there. He clearly wasn't the best choice to do anything. The crows caw when the moon goes down. Of course there are people who die. Many people will die today, said Chongqi. He was seemingly talking to himself as he continued. But dragon chants in the middle of the night, it means there will be opportunities. Who will seize them? Little boy, it won't be easy for you to seize such an opportunity. You'll have to be perseverant. I'll do my best, said Lin Feng. He didn't understand what it had to do with determination. Making these efforts was enough. Xian Yuan took this moment to jump towards the Dragon Palace. He had only broken through to the Tianqi lair, but he had balls. Xian Yuan arrived in front of the entrance. He raised his hands and a celestial golden axe appeared. Then Xian Yuan hit the entrance of the Dragon Palace with his axe. Gotcha! Crackling sound spread in the air. Maybe because Xian Yuan was strong, or maybe because the Dragon Palace was old and not solid. The attack worked anyway. Golden lights surrounded Xian Yuan's body and his blood spirit emitted whistling sounds. He jumped forwards and broke through the desolate qi. Then he entered the Dragon Palace. Xian Yuan is so strong, his blood strength is amazing, thought the crowd. Xian Yuan, just like the rumors stated, was incredible and fearless. He was the first to enter the Dragon Palace. Let's go, shouted a voice loudly. The Zun cultivators released a powerful qi and followed him. Let's go in, said Lin Feng to Chong Qi. They also followed. Brother Lin, it's dangerous, said Hua Zhangfeng. He was surprised that Lin Feng wanted to go into the palace. Lin Feng was brave. Hua Zhangfeng could barely withstand the oppressive power of the desolate qi, and surprisingly, Lin Feng wanted to go inside the palace. Brother Hua, this place really seems dangerous. Leave if you can, said Lin Feng. Then he turned around and went into the Dragon Palace. Hua Zhangfeng was astonished. Xian Yuan and Lin Feng were the only two Tian-level cultivators there. But Xian Yuan had imperial blood, he had a powerful family. He had also broken through to the 7th Tianqi layer. However, Lin Feng had only broken through to the 2nd Tianqi layer. Saying he was brave wasn't even enough anymore. If Lin Feng hadn't previously impressed him, he would think that Lin Feng was insane and suicidal. The desolate qi was incredible inside that castle. Lin Feng didn't mind though, he could control it. Chong Qi released fire which burned the desolate qi slowly. Piss off. Some people passed in front of Lin Feng very quickly. Dead animal ghosts, damn. Something was attacking Chong Qi, but he avoided the attack. Then, Lin Feng turned around and saw some people fight the animals. Those animals were dead, but their ghosts were very active. Little boy, help me. They are not afraid of fire, said Chong Qi. Lin Feng attacked the dead animals which were attacking Chong Qi. He punched one of them, as if the dead animal had sensed it. It also punched the air in Lin Feng's direction. Boom boom. The strength of the ghost made Lin Feng groan with pain. Shit, swore Lin Feng. Chong Qi was so strong yet couldn't do anything. Boom. A sound spread in the air. A dead animal had exploded when Xian Yuan crushed them. He looked like an overlord. Damn cultivator of the 2nd Tianqi layer. Piss off, said Xian Yuan tat Lin Feng. He was furious. His voice was so loud that Lin Feng thought his blood was going to explode. He even started bleeding. Xian Yuan didn't look at him again, and continued moving towards the depths of the Dragon Palace. The dead beasts couldn't stop him. Xian Yuan, you're so cruel, thought Lin Feng looking at him, but he didn't leave. He followed the crowd into the depths of the palace. Chapter 989. Dragon's Heart Imperial Blood. Did you sense it? Chong Qi was terribly excited and smiled at Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at Chong Qi angrily. Was Chong Qi gloating over his misfortune? Of course he sensed it. Xian Yuan had shouted and Lin Feng's blood started boiling because of that imperial blood strength. Xian Yuan had a strong blood, which some low-level Zun cultivators couldn't even compete with. Don't look at me that way. It's good for you to see those kinds of people, said Chong Qi smiling. He continued, let's follow them. If we're the last ones, we won't be able to get any treasures. Lin Feng nodded. They followed Xian Yuan and the other Zun cultivators into the depths of the Dragon Palace. Soon they arrived in a room with several gigantic dragon scales inside that contained a terrifying qi. Dragon scales. Lin Feng also had some dragon scales. He obtained a couple of them back in the mysterious world. However, his dragon scales weren't as big. Those dragon scales were as big as 2 hands. Boom! The Zun cultivator silhouettes flickered. A few of them started picking up dragon scales. Roar! A A very loud and terrifying dragon sound shook the palace. It made everybody shiver. Qiongqi didn't say anything, but instantly grabbed Lin Feng and pulled him back. They very quickly retreated. Roar, roar, the dragon sounds came from the dragon scales. Lin Feng realized that the Zun cultivators who had picked up dragon scales had collapsed, and were now motionlessly lying on the ground. They're dead. Lin Feng was astonished. Luckily, they had ran backwards and hadn't touched the dragon scales themselves. The dragon shouts were incredible. They contained an obscure strength which could kill people's souls. Those who had thrown away the dragon scales hadn't died though. Their blood just started flowing with an incredible speed and their hearts started pounding. They couldn't calm down. An incredible strength had been sealed in those dragon scales. A Zun-level beast must have done that. He hadn't turned into an imperial beast yet, otherwise nobody could have escaped. Dragons are imperial beasts in the sense that they're noble. That Zun-level beast had already reached the top of the Zun-Chi layer and very few Zun-level cultivators or beasts could defeat him. Explained Qiongqi to Lin Feng using telepathy. Apart from emperor-level beasts, that Zun-level beast probably had no equal. We can't take the dragon scales. People were furious. There were treasures in front of them but they handled them. At that moment Xian Yuan continued. His blood was emitting roaring sounds. A blood-like red light illuminated the atmosphere and it came from Xian Yuan's hand. The light then turned into an actual dragon. Capture roar. A dragon scale flew into Xian Yuan's hand. Roaring and whistling sounds spread in the air. Everything felt like it was going to collapse. His blood strength had turned into a dragon and grabbed the dragon scales. Then they disappeared. He put them in his ring. Brother Xian Yuan, no wonder you have imperial blood, said Yang Zhan. Xian Yuan could do what Zun cultivators couldn't do. Let's go. I don't want to waste any time here, said Xian Yuan. The crows had cawed, but the dragon kept chanting. They were wondering where the chant came from. The remaining Zun cultivators followed Xian Yuan. Lin Feng remained motionless though. One person was left in the room. It was the black silhouette Qiongqi had warned him about. He glanced at Lin Feng and said in a deep voice, a cultivator of the second Tianqi layer can surprisingly survive in such a dense desolate qi. Then he turned around and released a strange and enigmatic strength which surrounded the dragon scales. He opened his hands and the scales suddenly appeared there. Lin Feng was aghast. Especially since that the cultivator had managed to grab the dragon scales without them emitting any sound. You're an animal, said Qiongqi. The cultivator was about to leave, but stopped again. He turned his head, looked at Qiongqi and said, there are some things you shouldn't say, even if you know you're right. His tone was ice-cold. He released an ice-cold qi which suddenly enveloped Lin Feng and Qiongqi. There's no need to be like that, we're the same, said Qiongqi, turning into a human being as well. He was surrounded by beautiful red lights. We? Said that person looking at Lin Feng. Qiongqi was a beast. Lin Feng was clearly a human being. Show him, said Qiongqi to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was nervous. What did Qiongqi mean? However, he looked at the cultivator and opened his bestial consciousness. Strange, you're a beast but I didn't sense it, said the cultivator looking at Lin Feng. He had a bestial consciousness. He definitely had to be an animal. No wonder the desolate qi didn't affect him. It was his secret as well. We're brothers since we're here and since we're the same. Let's join hands and benefit from these opportunities, said Qiongqi. All right, I agree, said the dark shadow, and then he left. He's a beast. Lin Feng was still thinking it over. He looked at Qiongqi who had turned into a human being. Qiongqi was a bit careless sometimes. Little boy, we're weak but now we have a new friend. Isn't that great? Said Qiongqi who looked handsome as a human being. He had a friendly yet strange smile. Lin Feng wasn't used to that smile. Lin Feng and Qiongqi continued moving into the depths of the dragon palace. There were some dead bodies and all of them were marine animals. Lin Feng even saw the skeleton of a flood dragon. Unfortunately, there was nothing left to take from it. They continued moving along and arrived in a dazzling palace. The desolate qi was incredible there. Lin Feng was surprised. There was a real dragon there, but it was dead. It was 12 meters long. Even though it was dead, it looked majestic. Its claws were in the ground as if it had dug into it. Its head pointed upwards as if it were chanting. There were gigantic crystals in its mouth which contained bestial qi. There were gray dragon illusions around it, as if they were protecting the crystal. A dragon heart. People were astonished. It was an actual dragon heart. It absolutely contained an incredible strength. The Zune cultivators didn't try to take it, but they looked greedy. Surprisingly, there was a dragon heart in the dragon palace. Even though they all wanted it, nobody moved. It contained an incredible strength and they were all wondering how powerful it was. That kind of strength could possibly kill them instantly. Even Xianyuan didn't act carelessly. He didn't know how powerful the strength it contained was. He couldn't evaluate it. However, Qi's eyes were twinkling. Nobody could know what he was thinking. Chapter 990. I didn't kill you though. Yandi, can we take it? Asked Lin Feng. His eyes were twinkling as well. The heart of a Zune-level beast was extremely precious. If you want to die, go and try. If you touch it, you'll instantly die, said Qiongqi. Lin Feng smiled wryly. Even the Zune cultivators who were there didn't dare touch it. What can we do? Asked Lin Feng, annoyed. Could they only enjoy looking at it? Wait, they're not in a rush, why are you? Replied Qiongqi. Lin Feng remained silent and observed. At that moment, a black silhouette slowly walked towards the heart. He was surrounded by gray qi. Everybody looked, but nobody prevented him from trying. The gray qi surrounded the heart. Gotcha! A terrifying thunderclap light illuminated the atmosphere. The gray qi turned pale blue like a lightning and thunder energies penetrated into the heart, which caused everything to start shaking violently. Boom, boom, boom. The whole room started shaking violently as well as the people inside. Kacha boom ka, the thunder kept emitting roars all around. Roar, 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 the dragon was shouting furiously. An explosion sounded as people's blood suddenly started boiling. Qiongqi and Lin Feng were very far. However, Lin Feng was injured and groaned with pain. Blood splashed out of his mouth and his face turned deathly pale. Lin Feng raised his head, speechless. If he had tried to get the heart, he would have died. Slash slash. The thunder lights were dazzling and the heart was still shaking. A dragon shadow appeared around the heart. The gray energy seemed like it was alive as well. Let's do it together. Otherwise, nobody will get the heart, said Xianyuan at that moment. His blood strength started rolling in the air and a blood spear appeared. Die! Shouted Xianyuan furiously while throwing his spear at the dragon shadow. Roar! The dragon moved towards Xianyuan and turned into a terrifying desolate qi shadow. Boom! Blood-like red lights enveloped Xianyuan's body. He was using his blood strength to protect himself. The desolate qi couldn't affect him, so it dispersed. The other strong cultivators also started moving. However, 2 Zune cultivators died because of their carelessness. They had underestimated that desolate qi. Those dragon shadows are trying to kill all of us, thought Lin Feng. He had thought that the dragon shadows were just protecting the heart. He hadn't thought they could also attack people. Die, die! Shouted the cultivators furiously while jumping towards the dragon shadows. VZ! A terrifying wave of energy emerged from the heart, as the whole area was filled with bestial energies. It was as if time and space were frozen. The cultivators suddenly felt petrified, they could barely move. Dragon constriction strength, whispered Qiongqi. The lights which surrounded the cultivators turned into dragon shadows. That was dragon constriction energy, was a special ability dragons had. Little boy, that heart contains extremely pure dragon strength. They can't get to it. They will die if they keep trying, said Qiongqi using telepathy. They were stuck there, even though they were standing far away and didn't participate in the battle. Break! Shouted Xianyuan furiously. His blood emitted whistling sounds again and surrounded the dragon constriction energy. Xianyuan's blood was powerful, but it alone couldn't break the dragon constriction energy. Everybody was constricted as if they had fallen into quicksand. Xianyuan seemed like he understood something as he slowly moved away. All-embracing power. Capture. Dazzling lights appeared behind Xianyuan. The dazzling lights suddenly surrounded the heart. Mysterious marks appeared and started flowing inside the heart. Holy marks, holy weapon. Qiongqi was surprised and angry. Oh no, he's got a holy weapon, a very powerful one at that. Boom boom. The holy marks flowed into the heart. The whole room started shaking violently again. It seemed like it was going to collapse as water started flowing into the room. Xianyuan continued using his weapon. He mixed his blood strength with the holy weapon and slowly moved his hands. He wanted to capture the heart with the all-embracing power spell. The heart kept shaking violently. Stop him! Shouted someone furiously. Yangzhan, help me! Shouted Xianyuan furiously. His blood strength seemed like it was going to explode. He was barely handling it. Alright, said Yangzhan, jumping forwards. He arrived behind Xianyuan and released sword energies which lacerated everything. Cut marks appeared everywhere on the walls. He was protecting Xianyuan from those who wanted to attack him. Piss off! Black energies appeared and moved towards Yangzhan. Go back, shouted Yangzhan. Two mountain shadows appeared and moved towards the attacker. Boom boom. The black energies and the mountain-like energy collided. The room shook even more violently. Water was flowing everywhere now, it covered everybody but nobody paid attention to it. It's mine, fuck off! Shouted Xianyuan furiously. He jumped forwards and tried to grab the heart with his all-embracing power spell. Snowflakes suddenly appeared in the room. Many people were wondering what it was and where it came from. Empty space bestial illusion technique, thought Lin Feng. His snowy tunnel appeared. In a flash, Xianyuan was in the tunnel. He stretched his hand but he was moving farther and farther away from his all-embracing power weapon. He was losing control. Slash, slash. The holy marks disappeared and the bestial strength contained in the heart broke the constriction of the all-embracing power weapon. Boom! Bestial lights invaded the room again. Who did that? Xianyuan was furious. He released his qi. Surprisingly, someone had gotten to him at the very last minute. The snow disappeared and the heart attacked Xianyuan. Piss off! Xianyuan was furious. His blood strength was boiling. However, he couldn't block the strength from the heart which crashed onto him. Blood splashed everywhere. Boom boom boom. The heart started to shake violently again, it seemed furious. A few people's godly awareness were even attacked and they died instantly. Boom boom. The heart was attacking the dragon palace which seemed like it was going to collapse. Roar! Xianyuan shouted furiously and glanced at everybody. Who attacked him by surprise? He didn't have time to look for the guilty one now, it was more important to get the heart. He would settle accounts later though. I didn't kill you though, thought Lin Feng with a cold smile. Chapter 991. Chanting and talking dragon. The other strong cultivators started breaking the palace. They wanted to leave by any means they could, the heart was too dangerous. Let's go, said Lin Feng while starting to run. He wanted to leave too, but Chongqi suddenly shouted, stop! Lin Feng stopped and looked at Chongqi, perplexed. We're not leaving. You can use your demon seal stones to oppress the room, said Chongqi, annoyed. Wasn't the palace going to be flooded and the cultivators going to drown? Lin Feng was surprised. Loud sounds kept blasting in the palace. The statues and the skeletons were shaking and breaking apart, and they were already almost submerged. The room was going to collapse. What did Chongqi intend to do? Are we not leaving? Asked Lin Feng. We're not leaving. Hurry up and seal the room. If we leave, we won't obtain the heart. Those idiots don't understand how the dragon heart functions, said Chongqi. Lin Feng was speechless. Chongqi despised those people too much. Interesting, said Lin Feng, but he didn't hesitate anymore. He took out a demon seal stone and used it on the walls of the room. The water stopped and then continued following. Lin Feng looked at Chongqi and asked, what's going on? The dragon left his heart there on purpose to draw those idiots' attention, said Chongqi, walking towards the heart. Chongqi looked at the claws of the dragon. If the dragon had anything really important, it's in his claws under his belly on which he's lying, said Chongqi. His eyes were twinkling. You mean that there's something in his claws? Lin Feng was staring at Chongqi. Let's see if we can move the carcass, said Chongqi. Lin Feng released sword qi. Break, he shouted furiously. Lin Feng's hand turned into a sword which he used to cut into the skeleton. Metallic sounds clanked as the arm of the dragon was cut, but the claws were still firmly stuck in the ground. His body decomposed from the desolate qi, even though he used to be more resistant. It is only because it was weakened from the qi that you can cut into him, otherwise you wouldn't have had such an easy time, said Chong-Chi. Lin Feng was trying to move the claw, but it was firmly stuck. It really looked like it was protecting something. It's not that solid, break it, said Chong-Chi. Lin Feng nodded. His hand turned into a sword again. He was now trying to saw the claw off, which he was succeeding bit by bit. There was nothing in the ground, only the dragon's footprint. Lin Feng frowned and looked at Chong-Chi. Chong-Chi walked over and inspected the footprint intensely. Then he started carving things in the ground. He was drawing a dragon. Lin Feng was wondering what Chong-Chi was doing. Mysterious marks appeared, dragon marks. As expected, there's a dragon language technique hidden in the ground, said Chong-Chi. His eyes were twinkling. Fortunately, Chong-Chi understood those things. Lin Feng would have never been able to find them on his own. What was hidden under the dragon was probably more precious than his heart. The heart was there just to distract people. Can we break it? Asked Lin Feng. If you break it, you'll ruin everything the dragon did, said Chong-Chi in a despising way. He then added, those marks connect the whole palace, I need time. I hope those idiots won't find out what I'm doing, otherwise, the whole plan will be ruined. At the same time, Chong-Chi was opening the marks. Lin Feng was very nervous. He was scared that the others would find out what they're doing. The others were only interested in the heart at the moment, so Lin Feng and Chong-Chi still had time. Chong-Chi was using his full strength to draw things into ground with his fastest speed. More and more marks were appearing. It seemed like something was sealed underneath them. What's hidden underneath? The dragon made such great efforts to hide that treasure. Lin Feng's eyes were twinkling. Waves of energies kept coming out of the heart and making the whole room shake. Water was still flowing into the room. The dragon had used various methods to prevent most people from finding his treasures. What was he hiding precisely? Boom, boom, boom. The palace shook even more violently as a magnificent and dazzling light illuminated the atmosphere, which contained bestial strength. The dragon had used various special and deadly methods to distract people. He had fooled everyone but Chong-Chi. The palace was shaking even more violently. As Chong-Chi discovered the carvings, the lights were becoming more intense. Boom! The whole room started collapsing. The demon sealstone couldn't keep the room together any longer. Roar! The dragon roared. Lin Feng collapsed from the intensity of the sound. The voice had actually came from the skeleton. Kacha kaboom! The skeleton started breaking apart and falling into ashes. The skeleton is breaking apart. The last sound the dragon had emitted sounded like he wasn't happy at all, as if he hadn't thought that Chong-Chi would find out about his secret. We don't have much more time, hurry up, said Lin Feng. The dragon palace was falling apart and people outside wanted to come back and see. All right, said Chong-Chi. The ground was breaking apart following two marks in two directions. There's another cave underneath it, Lin Feng realized. With the room collapsing, they would soon be buried in that room if they stayed any longer. Roar! Lin Feng started shaking violently. Dragon chants in the middle of the night. Lin Feng's blood was boiling even more intensely than before. That was a real dragon chant. A dazzling red light appeared. This time, the chant of the dragon didn't stop. Lin Feng's blood was boiling. He couldn't calm down. What a scary sensation. At the same time, he kept looking at the underground room which was appearing in front him. Little boy, let's get down quickly, shouted Chong-Chi. He grabbed Lin Feng and jumped into the underground room. The dragon voice was stopping the other cultivators in their tracks. Chapter 992. I am Yen Di. Lin Feng and Chong-Chi jumped into the underground room. They were wrapped up in bestial qi and Lin Feng's blood was still boiling. A small room appeared. There was also blood-red light which was now in front of him. It looked alive as it illuminated the entire room red. It contained a terrifying bestial qi and seemed to have been there for a very long time. All right, seal the blood and don't let a drop spill over. Let's see what it contains, said Chong-Chi. That was pure dragon blood after all. Little boy, hurry up, swallow that blood, said Chongqi to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was astonished. Swallow? That blood was even thicker than the one he had seen in the mysterious world. Could he swallow that? Hurry up, it would be a waste not to swallow it. Hurry up, shouted Chongqi furiously. He then tapped Lin Feng's back and Lin Feng tripped and fell into the blood. Lin Feng's blood seemed like it was going to explode. He could even hear the sound of his own blood boiling. He raised his head and sensed the strength of that blood. He could still see Chongqi, but it felt surreal. Hurry up, little boy. You want to die? Do you want to be bullied and humiliated your entire life? That's an incredible opportunity you have now. Don't make me feel like I wasted my time with you, shouted Chongqi. Lin Feng was still hesitating. How annoying. Some others wouldn't have hesitated. You're pissing me off really bad, shouted Chongqi furiously. At that moment, Lin Feng's eyes twinkled. Did he want to be bullied and humiliated his entire life? Did he like being despised by other people? Of course not. No matter who, Prince Tianlin, Chou Junluo, they all have a powerful blood strength. They are strong and despised Lin Feng with their inherited strengths. Even Xian Yuan was like that. He inherited an emperor's blood strength. However, the Zun cultivator in Lin Feng's family had existed thousands of years before him. Their family's blood strength had faded with time. I'll take the risk. Lin Feng opened his mouth and started swallowing the blood. He could sense its power in his throat. Lin Feng felt overwhelmed, like he was going to explode. His veins were getting bigger, his visceral organs were burning. Use your blood strength to absorb it. Make your blood strength fuse together with it. You have a little bit of dragon blood. Absorb as much as you can with it, and try to waste as little as possible. You can also make the rest that you can't fuse with your blood energy fuse with your flesh, shouted Chongqi. Chongqi looked at the blood and raised his hands. He started absorbing too. Lin Feng couldn't absorb all the blood by himself anyway. They couldn't afford to waste any of it. Roar! The dragon was still changing as more marks appeared. Chongqi looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's eyes were closed. A crystal appeared. A dragon blood crystal which contained life and bestial strength. It's a heart. Chongqi shouted furiously, stop. However, Lin Feng didn't stop. He was still swallowing everything as if the world around him didn't exist anymore. Because he didn't stop, he swallowed the heart. Chongqi's eyes were wide open in shock. You bastard! Animal! You're useless! Shouted Chongqi. He was fuming with anger. Lin Feng had swallowed the whole heart. The dragon heart contained incredible energies. Chongqi wanted to use a part of it too, but Lin Feng took it all for himself. Chongqi was really annoyed. Roar! The dragon chant was making the whole room shake now. Lin Feng was shaking so violently that blood splashed out of his mouth. He opened his eyes and felt confused. Chongqi was astonished. A dragon shadow appeared in front of them and it had murder in his eyes. You ate my child, said the dragon while staring at Lin Feng. Roar! The dragon roared furiously. Lin Feng was still bleeding. His child. Chongqi was astonished too. He suddenly understood everything though. The dragon spirit had used its last remaining strength to protect his child. Everything was clear now. No wonder the dragon didn't want other people to discover his secret. However, Lin Feng had carelessly swallowed his child whole. Damn human being. Die! Shouted the dragon. If you kill him, you'll kill your child too, said Chongqi. The dragon was already in front of Lin Feng. He was about to crush Lin Feng to death with his claws, but stopped and turned around. He coldly stared at Chongqi. There are many strong cultivators outside right now. If you kill him, even if your child comes out, the strong cultivators will come in and kill your child all the same. All your efforts will have been in vain, said Chongqi in a solemn and respectful way. Chongqi's words affected the dragon. Indeed, that would be pointless. You'll both die though. No matter what, said the dragon. You're a dragon. He swallowed your blood. He'll have your blood in his body from now on. Even though he ate your child, he didn't kill him. Now with his blood strength he can raise your child. He can protect him. That's better than being stuck in here for eternity, said Chongqi. The dragon looked perplexed but still looked furious. He looked at Chongqi and said, I don't believe you, you'll kill my child. I guarantee you will do our best to make your child come back to life. You're a stupid animal, how can you guarantee anything? Said the dragon. Bullshit, look at me carefully, do I look like a Tian-level beast? Could a Tian-level beast understand dragon language and carve dragon marks? Said Qiongqi. His hair was fluttering with energies. He looked majestic and powerful as stared back at the dragon, fearlessly and proudly. Qiongqi looked aggressive, powerful, dignified and majestic at that moment. Lin Feng was astonished. Qiongqi even looked extremely handsome. But at the same time, Lin Feng still couldn't realize he had eaten a baby dragon. Who are you? Asked the dragon. He could sense that Qiongqi was extraordinary. That kind of qi couldn't be feigned. It was a power that resonated from deep in someone's bones. I am the Flame Emperor Yan Di. I lost my cultivation level because of an incredible war a long time ago, so now I have the body of a Tian-level beast. But I guarantee you can trust us. Don't worry, said Qiongqi, whose hair was still fluttering. The dragon looked at Qiongqi calmly and respectfully. Even an incredible dragon respected Yan Di. Chapter 993. More and more people around the dragon. Yan Di. Yan Di was a great emperor back in the day. Qiongqi looked domineering and majestic. His qi looked extraordinary. Even the dragon felt like he could trust Yan Di. Even though Qiongqi had lost his cultivation level and his powers, maybe he could recover them in the future. If such a day came, Qiongqi would easily be able to kill and destroy some of the strongest living beings in the cultivation world. You guarantee that you won't kill my child and will protect him? Said the dragon. I indeed promise you. Whenever we have the opportunity, we'll even make your child come back to life. Said Yan Di again in a solemn and respectful way. The dragon remained silent as his shadow became less and less distinct, as if he was going to disappear. Roar! The dragon raised his head and roared. He had no choice. He had to seize that opportunity. Yan Di was a great emperor. Even though the dragon couldn't be 100% sure Yan Di would protect his child, he had no choice but believe him. What could he do anyways? As Yan Di had said, even if he took his child out of Lin Feng, what could he do? Keep him imprisoned in a cave? With Yan Di, the dragon child would have many opportunities. He had no choice. I believe you, please take care of my child, said the dragon while lowering his head. He was submitting to Yan Di for his child. Let me ask you one last thing. Without the seal, your blood could disperse and then you'd disappear. Can you put all your blood in his and make your blood and his fuse together, as well as all your strength? That way you'll also be in his blood, and you'll even be able to protect your child forever. Yan Di said in a solemn and respectful way. Lin Feng was on the sideline here, but was receiving all the benefits. At least the dragon didn't want to kill him anymore. Lin Feng admired Yan Di. He was audacious, brave and strong. Yan Di really looked like an emperor at that moment. He's a great emperor after all. I must remember to be nice to him in the future, thought Lin Feng. If Yan Di had heard Lin Feng's thoughts, he would have slapped him. That's also a way of showing your gratitude. Lin Feng will remember that forever and take good care of your child, continued Yan Di. The dragon nodded and bowed in front of Yan Di. Take care of my child. Thank you. Then he looked at Lin Feng, roared, and in a flash, all his blood started flowing into Lin Feng's body. Roar! His roar sounded a bit sad. The illusion slowly disappeared as it penetrated into his body. Lin Feng started shaking violently again. Cherish my child, said a voice in Lin Feng's head. The sensation was completely different this time. His blood felt like it was changing. The dragon blood and strength penetrated into Lin Feng's body. He was helping Lin Feng assimilate his blood. His blood was becoming Lin Feng's blood. Boom boom. The palace was already destroyed. That small room seemed like it was going to collapse as well. They're here. Qiongqi and Lin Feng glanced at each other. The dragon had roared so loudly that it drew people's attention to them. They hadn't come earlier because they were trying to take the heart. Lin Feng and Qiongqi didn't know if they had managed to take it or not by now. Qi opened his mouth and spat out fire. Lin Feng was suddenly surrounded by flames. Qiongqi was masking the dragon Qi around him. Hurry up and get to the surface. Wait for me there, I'll clean the room in the meantime, said Qiongqi. Lin Feng nodded and rose up in the air. Qiongqi continued spitting out fire everywhere to clean the room, removing any evidence of dragon energies. Even if someone found the room, they wouldn't be able to tell what there was before. Boom boom boom. Lin Feng took back his demon seal stone. His blood was still boiling, but it was properly covered up with the fire. Then Qiongqi came out too. They mingled in with the crowd again. There were many Tian-level cultivators in the room now. They had come in afterwards. They looked at Lin Feng and Qiongqi unhappily. The heart was still shaking violently. No wonder nobody had paid attention to what was happening underground. The water and the dragon shadow had also disappeared. It was no wonder that it had attracted so many people. Nobody could take the heart though, only Zun cultivators could try taking it. What did you steal? Show it, said one of them coldly. If you want to steal our treasures, come and fight us. We're at the bottom of the Tianqi layer. But we only fell into that room when the room collapsed. What could we get with our cultivation level? Said Qiongqi, pointing at the ruins around. However, those people smiled coldly. If those two couldn't get treasures, why would they have come out then? We all heard the dragon chant, and you're telling us you didn't get anything? Who would believe you? Said those people with cold smiles. That came from the dragon scales. If you don't believe us, go and see for yourself. Authentic dragon chants and scales can kill people we would never get near, said Qiongqi, pointing to some dragon scales. I'll go and see. At that moment, someone's silhouette flickered. That person moved to the dragon scales, put some stones away and grabbed it. Roar! A terrifying dragon roar spread in the air. In a flash, that person was dead. Everybody was speechless as they looked back at Qiongqi. I told you that those dragon scales could kill people instantly. I didn't try to fool you. If you're too greedy, go and take a risk, said Qiongqi. Lin Feng was calmly standing there. He had to pretend to be calm even though his blood was boiling. If he showed that he wasn't feeling normal, people would guess he obtained something. They all stared at Qiongqi. He did warn them that touching those scales could kill people. We believe you for now, said someone. He moved towards the scale. That was annoying. There were treasures, but they couldn't take them. Then they all left but a middle-aged man. He looked at Lin Feng and Qiongqi coldly. What's wrong? Asked Qiongqi. If I kill you both, I'll know for sure if you got treasures or not, said the cultivator with a cold smile. Without saying anything, he threw himself at Lin Feng. You want to die? Shouted Qiongqi furiously. His red hair fluttered in the wind as he released fire energy. The cultivator's facial expression changed drastically. He suddenly turned around, but it was too late. He was already surrounded by fire. He gave a horrible shriek and suddenly looked terrified. That fire was burning him alive. In a flash, he turned into ashes. Qiongqi stopped next to Lin Feng and said, Hurry up, you obtained such great treasures, and I still need to protect you. Lin Feng remained speechless. What was happening to him right now wasn't his fault after all. Chapter 994. Muchun, you're really strong. That guy had broken through to the 5th Tianqi layer and you killed him in less than a second, said Lin Feng, smiling. Of course I did. I'm an emperor, said Qiongqi proudly. All right, you'll fight from now on, said Lin Feng. Qiongqi rarely fought after all. Dream on. Back when I was an ordinary cultivator, only after I fought a lot and became an imperial cultivator did I become a great emperor, a Zun emperor. You and I are different. You've only broken through to the 2nd Tianqi layer. You can't afford to act lazily. You need to fight and suffer to become a Zun cultivator, Qiongqi explained. Qiongqi then thought, I still need to improve my fire. I can't waste energy. You're not nice, said Lin Feng. Qiongqi used to be a great emperor. Then he had lost his power and had taken Qiongqi's body. He was even aggressive and impatient. Later, Lin Feng had helped him obtain the void fire, and now Lin Feng couldn't even see how strong he was anymore. If he helped him anymore, Qiongqi would become too strong. Roar! Lin Feng and Qiongqi raised their heads. The dragon heart was dazzling. Many dragon shadows appeared and started roaring. They suddenly surrounded all those Zun cultivators. No wonder that dragons are the emperors of the animal world. They're so strong, sighed Lin Feng. 2 cultivators were trying to steal the heart, but the dragon shadows swallowed them and killed them. That heart contains authentic dragon strength. The dragon heart you swallowed belonged to a newborn baby. Luckily, it didn't contain much dragon strength, otherwise you'd have died on the spot, said Chongqi to Lin Feng using telepathy. Do I really have to raise the dragon baby now? Whispered Lin Feng. I personally promised that to the dragon. In the future, you'll have a dragon pet for yourself. That's not bad, said Chongqi smiling. Lin Feng understood. With the dragon, both would become much stronger. Yan Di might even become an animal emperor with the help of a dragon. Lin Feng sometimes didn't understand some of the logic behind some events. What would it feel like to raise a dragon though? Was it the same feeling as being pregnant? I swallowed your blood and you made your blood fuse together with mine dragon. I must remain faithful, thought Lin Feng. That was a fact. The dragon heart is going to become weaker and weaker. They'll manage to take it sooner or later, but it is already not so useful anymore. What a bunch of idiots, thought Chongqi watching the crowd. At that moment there were even more people surrounding the heart. They wanted to steal the dragon heart. Xianyuan, Yangzhan and the one in black clothes. The one in black clothes seemed particularly interested in the dragon heart. He was ready to risk his life for it even. He was a beast after all. That dragon heart could be extremely useful to him. I know what kind of beast he is, said Chongqi while staring at the man in black clothes. At that moment, he had gigantic black wings emitting thunderous sounds which contained a terrifying strength. What kind? Asked Lin Feng. He had the wings of a gigantic rock and thunderous energies. Lin Feng had never seen such an animal. Mixed breed lightning vulture and great rock. He's a lightning rock. He's extremely strong and fast. It's a rare race to encounter, whispered Chongqi. Lin Feng calmly listened. He had never heard of such animals. There were many breeds in the animal world and Lin Feng wasn't familiar with zoology in the slightest. Lin Feng came from Shuiyu, but there weren't even that many Tian-level beasts there. If we give that dragon heart to our teachers, they'll probably be very happy, said someone indifferently. He hadn't arrived yet, but the people who were there could hear him. The crowd glanced around to see who that person was. Was he insane? Giving the heart to his teachers. They had been there for such a long time trying to get the dragon heart. That would be a great gift for our teachers. You precisely wanted to offer a gift to our teachers? Said someone else. The ones who had been trying to get the heart for a long time were getting angry. Come out and talk, shouted Xianyuan furiously, making the atmosphere shake. 3 silhouettes appeared from above. When the crowd saw those people, they immediately calmed down. Those people looked extraordinary. Xianyuan frowned when he saw them. The leader of the group was wearing a simple yet very clean white robe. He wasn't releasing any qi either, but he seemed special. The second person was wearing a simple silver robe and had a sword in his back. He was handsome and looked indifferent. The last one had a black robe and he looked both powerful and majestic. Lin Feng actually recognized him. Xianyuan Shi's little boy, you're very proud, said the leader in white clothes with a smile. Shut up, who are you? Said Xianyuan coldly. Those people were calling him little boy, how disrespectful. Even if they were strong, they still had to show respect. Mu-chun like wood and dust, said the one in white clothes with a smile. Everybody was scared, Mu-chun. Many people had heard that name. In the past, few people had ever heard that name or seen him, but recently, more people were hearing about him because of the Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's first recruitment session. Many people were researching about Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's very own disciples. The most famous one was Qing Lin. He was Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's second disciple. He could use reincarnation spells which were incredible to behold, so many people remembered him. According to rumors, Mu-chun was Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's first disciple. Mu-chun, the crowd was shivering. So his teachers were Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu. Silver clothes, handsome, that's Ho Qing Lin. The crowd looked at the second one and suddenly remembered that name. He was indubitably Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's second disciple, Ho Qing Lin. Oh, I see. Fellow disciples, hello, said Xianyuan a bit baffled. Then he smiled nicely and politely. "Little boy, we're not your fellow disciples," said Mu Chun with a smile. Xian Yuan already considered himself as an imperial cultivation disciple. But Mu Chun wasn't of the same opinion. Xian Yuan was getting a little ticked off. Chapter 995. Xian Yuan feels humiliated. For many people, it was a sure thing that Xian Yuan was going to become Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's imperial cultivation disciple, but actually, he was applying in hopes of becoming the first imperial cultivation disciple of the Tianqi layer. Xian Yuan, by considering himself as an imperial cultivation disciple, was acting very confidently. Calling Mu Chun a fellow disciple was disrespectful. Mu Chun didn't appreciate it and contradicted him immediately. Xian Yuan smiled coldly inside. Mu Chun looked at Ho Qinglin and said, "Brother, since they can't take the heart, you can take it. It would indeed be a great gift for the teachers, especially after all the efforts they're making to organize the recruitment process. Even if they don't like it, they'll be happy because it comes from you." "All right," said Ho Qinglin, nodding. He jumped to the heart. That heart contained an incredible strength. Mu Chun followed Ho Qinglin. They weren't ordinary cultivators. They were Emperor Yu and Emperor Shi's own disciples. They had a very high social status and were very gifted. Even the leaders of the biggest sects and clans respected them. Even without talking about their social status, they were very strong indeed. If they wanted to take the heart, nobody could compete with them here. They released qi which slowly moved towards the heart. Ho Qinglin looked calm as if the heart's energies didn't affect him. "We found that heart first. Do you think you can simply take it?" said Xian Yuan to Ho Qinglin. The others had the same thought, but weren't actually going to say anything. Nobody talked but Xian Yuan. Ho Qinglin glanced at Xian Yuan indifferently and said, "I never said you couldn't take it. Come and take it from me if you have balls to back up that mouth of yours." Ho Qinglin sounded very calm. Xian Yuan pulled a long face. Usually people never talked to him that way. He was the one who talked to others like that. Did he have the balls? Ho Qinglin sounded calm, detached and indifferent. If Xian Yuan dared attack, what would Ho Qinglin do? Nobody wanted to imagine the scene. In terms of strength, Xian Yuan was infinitely weaker than Ho Qinglin. In terms of social status, Ho Qinglin was a real and genuine imperial disciple. Xian Yuan just had imperial blood. Everybody remained quiet. The atmosphere became very calm. Xian Yuan always relied on his social status and strength to humiliate others, but now he couldn't do much. "Awesome," thought Lin Feng standing on the ruins. He had a huge smile. Ho Qinglin was truly amazing. He had helped him in the past and now he was humiliating someone he didn't like. How perfect was that? In the Dragon Palace, Xian Yuan had humiliated Lin Feng. Now his karma was playing him. Ho Qinglin had arrived. What is awesome? It would be awesome if you were Ho Qinglin. Xian Yuan despises you and even humiliated you. I hope someday you can act like Qinglin, said Qinglin indifferently, making Lin Feng come back to his senses. His heart was filled with ardor and hope. Qiongqi was right though. Lin Feng had to become stronger and someday he'd be able to shame arrogant people the same way Ho Qinglin just did. I told you last time that guy is a real genius. Xian Yuan has imperial blood but nothing more, said Qiongqi. He looked over at Lin Feng and continued, "Little boy, when will you become strong and act like them? Too bad that you're not that strong yet. Telling you these things is useless it seems." Lin Feng smiled wryly. Indeed, what a pity. Lin Feng raised his head. His blood was filled with ardor, hope, determination. Someday you will see. I will be stronger than them. I will despise people who have despised me, who have humiliated me. I will become incredibly strong, whispered Lin Feng. His blood was flowing with incredible strength now, especially since he had swallowed the dragon blood. Nobody knew what had just happened to him, and nobody could know how he felt. The dragon blood had become his own power. Qiongqi smiled and said, "I hope I won't have to wait too long to witness that change." At that moment, Ho Qinglin jumped to the heart and grabbed it. A strength appeared and enveloped the heart. Boom! The heart shone brightly. Dragon roars invaded the atmosphere. In a flash, lights with reincarnation energy appeared and enveloped the heart. Reincarnation strength. The crowd was amazed. Ho Qinglin didn't need to use his sword. He could easily use reincarnation energies to take the heart. Busy. The atmosphere was filled with reincarnation energies right now. He jumped up and opened his hand. There were reincarnation energies radiating from his palm, and the heart was sitting there. It looked like an ordinary crystal. It was difficult to imagine that just before, so many strong cultivators had tried to take the heart and died trying. There was a huge difference between them and Ho Qinglin. How strong! Thought Lin Feng, gasping with amazement. It was the second time that he saw Ho Qinglin, and just like the first time, it was amazing. I told you he's a genius. To him, a dragon heart is nothing exceptional. He will definitely become an emperor, maybe even a great emperor. After you become an imperial cultivation disciple, you'll be Mu Chan and Ho Qinglin's fellow disciple. Be friends with them and learn from them, said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng nodded. Mu Chan and Ho Qinglin seem very strong, but also reasonable. Lin Feng would probably become their fellow disciple soon. At that moment, Ho Qinglin lowered his head and looked at Xian Yuan. You're weak, you might be talented, but nobody really cares about you. Chapter 996. Chased. So what? Xian Yuan was furious and looked very upset. Xian Yuan was humiliated twice in the same day. Ho Qinglin was openly making fun of him. Xian Yuan had imperial blood, and he was proud of it. There were many people who admired him. Ho Qinglin turned around and looked at Mu Chan. Brother, let's go. All right, said Mu Chan with a smile. Then the three left as quickly as they came. The crowd sighed. I am afraid of Xian Yuan, but they aren't. They're domineering, majestic, imposing, strong, proud. If someday I become Emperor Sure and Emperor Yu's disciple, I'll despise people like Xian Yuan just like them, thought several people from the crowd. They were impatient to become imperial cultivation disciples and receive Emperor Sure and Emperor Yu's teachings. At that moment, everybody was even more determined to become an imperial cultivation disciple. Xian Yuan looked at Mu Chan and the others leaving. He thought, someday I will trample you. I will become the emperor's most dangerous weapon. But until then, he had to rank first amongst Tian-level candidates, then he had to break through to the Zunqi layer. Then he could trample them. He turned around and glanced at the crowd. The dragon had chanted, the crows had cawed. A dragon palace had appeared, and in the end, Xian Yuan had obtained nothing. His all-embracing power weapon was even broken. Who plotted against me? Said Xian Yuan furiously. Surprisingly, someone had used a skill against him in the dragon palace, causing his all-embracing power weapon to break. Then he had lost control of the dragon heart. What a tragedy! He had lost a precious weapon and he lost the dragon heart. Now he was furious. Other people had even taken the heart as he sat there and watched. Nobody replied to Xian Yuan though. The cultivator in black clothes stepped on the ruins and looked at Lin Feng and Qiong Qi. Then he ran to the dragon scales. He hadn't obtained the heart, but at least he could get some dragon scales. Does he know it was me? Thought Lin Feng when the guy looked at him. He had observed him in the dragon palace as well. Maybe that cultivator in the black clothes had used his empty space bestial illusion technique to watch Lin Feng after sensing another bestial qi. Some people left, some people came back to the ruins. Xian Yuan turned around and looked at the ruins. He glanced at Lin Feng too, but for less than a second, Lin Feng was just an ant after all. Little boy, are you good to leave now? Said Qiong Qi using telepathy. They had been there for a long time now. Almost, whispered Lin Feng. The blood was still fusing with his. If the dragon hadn't helped him, he wouldn't have been able to swallow everything, let alone with this speed. We should go now. There are bestial marks in the ruins and people could find something in the small room that we opened, said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng nodded. He knew those things, of course. I'm not worried anyways, you're here to protect me after all, whispered Lin Feng. Are you sure? Said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng said nothing. He just stared back at Qiong Qi. I'm so weak, how could I protect you? Haha. If I don't tell you such things, will you actually take risks? Said Qiong Qi laughing. Lin Feng remained speechless. Qiong Qi had to be joking, right? All right. I'm good, said Lin Feng. He took a deep breath and said to Qiong Qi, let's go. Avoiding the others, they left. Two cultivators at the bottom of the Tianqi layer. Strong cultivators would want to attack them and steal their treasures if they could. Above the water surrounding the ruins of the towers, someone was observing Lin Feng. He and a few others had followed Lin Feng. Above the water, there were still many strong cultivators, and they were all leaving one after the other. There was nothing interesting left in the ruins. Many people had died and so on. Was Ho Qinglin the only one who obtained great treasures? Boom! At that moment an explosion sounded. Xian Yuan was standing in the air. His hair was fluttering, and his facial expression looked ice-cold. He just made the ground explode and found a small room under the rubble. An underground room, precisely where the claws of the dragons were guarding. Apart from that room, there were marks written all over the ground. The crowd looked at him. Xian Yuan had just discovered a secret room with marks all around it. Was there anything in that room? Those who had entered the palace at the very beginning with Xian Yuan all looked furious. While they were taking huge risks to take the heart, someone had secretly been stealing precious treasures. When they thought about the consecutive dragon chants, they only now understood that they were coming from inside that room. Nobody knew about what was inside, even the qi had been hidden. It's him. The two cultivators of the bottom of the Tianqi layer, thought the crowd suddenly. Only two people had stayed in the back the whole time. Those two were despicable insects, so nobody paid any attention to them. Xian Yuan looked at Lin Feng, who was already very, very far away in the horizon, and rose up in the air. He then turned into a beam of light and chased Lin Feng. He had to catch up with him. Lin Feng was moving with incredible speed towards a mountain at that moment. Lin Feng knew that he was being chased at that point. When he found out that people were chasing him, he smiled coldly. The people who were chasing him stopped. The leader was a young man whose qi was extraordinary. He looked about as angry as could be. You cause troubles everywhere you go, even in Ba Huang province, said the young man. Lin Feng smiled and said, Prince Tianlin, it's so good to see you. Chapter 997. Killing Tianlin. Surprisingly, you're laughing, said Prince Tianlin, who was laughing as well. He laughed in a very strange way though. What could Lin Feng do to him in Ba Huang province? 4th Tianqi layer. Lin Feng inspected Prince Tianlin's cultivation level. Last time he had seen him, he had the strength of the 3rd Tianqi layer. The other cultivators who were with him had broken through to the 4th Tianqi layer as well. Without your deployment spells and without Ho Qinglin, what can you do? Said Prince Tianlin coldly. Now that Prince Tianlin had broken through to the 4th Tianqi layer, and they were in Ba Huang province, Lin Feng didn't stand a chance. You forgot that back when Ho Qinglin and Yu Xiao hadn't arrived yet, you attacked me, but in the end you were the one left hurt. You lost to me and used Yu Xiao to save you. It seems like you have forgotten how we ended things, said Lin Feng with a mocking tone. Prince Tianlin looked at his friends ashamed. Lin Feng had injured him. You have a glib tongue. This time I will slaughter you, said Prince Tianlin while throwing himself at Lin Feng. Roar, roar without hesitating. Prince Tianlin threw himself at Lin Feng and released his wind spirit. His spirit was even more powerful than the last time Lin Feng had seen him. Die! Shouted Prince Tianlin furiously. A terrifying strength surrounded Lin Feng. People like you can only rely on the blood strength from their ancestors. You seemingly only know how to release your spirit. Without your spirit, you'd be even worse than trash, said Lin Feng in a despising way. He slowly rose up in the air and looked down on Prince Tianlin. Back then, at the Great Sect meeting, I was wearing a mask. You came to Ganyu as an imperial cultivation disciple, and thought everybody admired you. If you weren't an imperial cultivation disciple and didn't possess a strong spirit, I would have killed you in the blink of an eye, said Lin Feng while releasing terrifying energies. I will teach you something today. Being an imperial cultivation disciple makes you proud, but it alone is not enough. Lin Feng sensed the new blood flowing in his body. He was so much stronger. It felt like an ocean was flowing through his veins. The others looked at him surprised. Prince Tianlin's wind brushed against Lin Feng, but he realized that Lin Feng was surrounded by some kind of strength. The wind wasn't even affecting him. Prince Tianlin pulled a long face. Lin Feng now had a powerful blood strength. How come? Don't think that I can't kill you, said Prince Tianlin. At the same time, he released his own blood strength. The atmosphere was assaulted by whistling hurricanes and dust flew around. The wind was as sharp as a blade's edge. Die! Shouted Prince Tianlin. Black lights appeared and a terrifying sealing strength rolled in the air. Lin Feng condensed some strength in his hand. It was as if the force of the earth and sky. Lin Feng moved his blood strength towards the palm of his hand. That sensation made him feel even more confident and stronger. Prince Tianlin's facial expression looked worse and worse. His wind spirit was strong, but when he sensed Lin Feng's strength, he didn't know what to do. How had Lin Feng become so strong? He was so much stronger than last time. You're pathetic. Poor you, said Lin Feng when he saw that Prince Tianlin's facial expression had changed drastically. He then added coldly, I was hiding my strength last time. If I hadn't, I could have killed you instantly. You're much weaker than Chou Jun Luo, said Lin Feng. Finally, he was attacking. Boom boom. An incredible amount of strength and force streaked across the sky. Those energies surrounded the wind spirit and suppressed them with sealing strength. Boom! A loud sound spread in the air and Prince Tianlin groaned with pain. His face turned deathly pale. His spirit was propelled away by Lin Feng, and a sealing strength had even constricted it. Imperial cultivation disciple, ridiculous, said Lin Feng coldly. He then walked towards Prince Tianlin. Prince Tianlin was scared. He couldn't beat Lin Feng. Kill him, shouted Prince Tianlin furiously while running back. His friends immediately released their own spirits. Just stop and make things easier for the both of us, said someone to Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at him and continued running towards Prince Tianlin while saying, You can't kill me, so you're asking me to back down? How ridiculous is that? Since that's what you think, die, said one of the bodyguards. 5 cultivators threw themselves at Lin Feng at the same time. Roar! Lin Feng opened his mouth and released a demonic qi. A demon shadow appeared along with whistling energies. An explosion sounded as the demon energy crashed into the group of people. Kaboom! The earth and the sky were shaking as well as those people. They immediately fell down from the sky and crashed onto the ground, dead. All those people were dead. Prince Tianlin looked at them. His heart was twitching. He looked scared yet dumbstruck. He couldn't believe his eyes. Demonic energies. That was you on that day, said Prince Tianlin. The one who had stolen the void fire was Lin Feng, disguised as a demon. Indeed. If I didn't need to stay incognito, I would have killed you easily, just by slapping you, said Lin Feng while condensing demonic energies in his palm. Prince Tianlin was horrified as he ran backwards. He wanted to escape. Lin Feng was playing with him. He was moving his hand around as if he were dancing. Demonic energies had condensed at this point. Assassin spell, said Lin Feng. The demon energies suddenly stabbed Prince Tianlin. He couldn't even see them coming. His corpse fell down from the sky, dead as well. Chapter 998. Degenerate. Lin Feng looked at Prince Tianlin's expressionless corpse. Then he turned around and walked into the desolate mountains. Buddy, I need to practice cultivation somewhere for a few days, said Lin Feng to Chongqi. I know you need to understand your new blood strength, said Chongqi. They arrived somewhere uninhabited and found a cave. Lin Feng activated his consciousness and found that it was larger than before. There were golden colors mixed into the blood-red colors. He found a heart in his blood strength. It was a baby dragon. It had a powerful qi and the vitality of a newborn. The dragon fused its blood together with his, but it hadn't spread everywhere in Lin Feng's body yet. Lin Feng took this time to make the blood flow faster. There used to be no sound when Lin Feng circulated his blood, but now it emitted loud sounds. Lin Feng could sense how strong his new blood was. Loud roaring sounds echoed in the cave. 2 days later, Lin Feng's entire body was surrounded by golden lights. The sounds he emitted when cultivating were even louder. They even echoed out into the valley outside of the cave. A silhouette was approaching from the sky at that moment. It was a woman in snowy white clothes. She had a veil covering her face, but it was hard to look the other way. She had an incredible body. Lin Feng's blood qi dashing to the skies and emitting roaring sounds made the woman stop. She gazed into the distance, dazzled. What was that sound? It sounded like a tsunami. Roar! A dragon chant spread and echoed across the valley. The woman was surprised. Was there a dragon in the valley? Was a dragon practicing cultivation in the valley? She heard that in Black Crow Village, a dragon palace had appeared and that many strong cultivators had gone there to find a dragon heart. But that in the end, Ho Ching Lin took it. How come she could now hear a dragon chant in the valley? Besides, it was very intense. She ran in the direction of the roar, but then the dragon chant stopped. She was surprised, excited, and curious. Her silhouette flickered and she arrived near the entrance of a cave. That was where she heard the dragon chant come from. There were two silhouettes outside of the cave, a human being and a Tian-level beast. The young man looked handsome but ordinary. He had only broken through to the third Tian-Chi layer. Nothing spectacular. The beast with him was astonishing though. It was an ancient beast. She couldn't take her eyes off of it. Did you hear a dragon chant? Asked the woman gently to Lin Feng. I heard it. I came here because of it, but I didn't see anything, replied Lin Feng with an indifferent smile. He hadn't thought that breaking through to the third Tian-Chi layer would cause his blood to emit a dragon chant. Fortunately, nobody had found him while he was still practicing cultivation in the cave. Otherwise, people might guess what was going on. The girl frowned and looked at him. She couldn't have been wrong. But she was scouting the cave with her consciousness and there was nothing inside. Just like Lin Feng had said. She couldn't think that it was Lin Feng either. After all, she had heard an actual dragon. She shook her head slowly and turned around to leave. We should go too, thought Lin Feng as a boat appeared next to him. If he didn't use it, he would be late. The girl sensed the boat and looked at Lin Feng. She was surprised. She went back to him and asked, Are you the one who stole the Yang's boat in Tianyuan City and asked them for 1,000 abstruse crystals? Lin Feng frowned. He didn't expect a random person he encountered in the mountains to have heard about that already. That boat was broken at first. I fixed it with special tools and Yang Ziyi agreed to give it to me. I didn't steal anything, said Lin Feng, annoyed. Sorry, I didn't express myself properly, said the girl with a smile. You're quite strong. You defeated Chou Jun Luo even though you have only broken through to the third Tian-Chi layer. Not bad, said the girl, interested. She smiled and said, Can you take me on your boat? I don't have anything to go faster. She was wrong again. Lin Feng had broken through to the second Tian-Chi layer when he had fought Chou Jun Luo. He had just now broken through to the third Tian-Chi layer in the cave. Are we going to the same place? Said Lin Feng. I don't think I'm wrong. We're both going to Tiantai, said the girl gently. Lin Feng nodded. As expected, many people were going to Tiantai to become Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's imperial cultivation disciples. No problem, you can come with me. I just hope that you're not like Yang Ziyi. I rescued her from the Huang Sea and when we arrived in Tianyuan, she humiliated me and pretended I was interested in her. How could you compare me to her? Said the girl, shaking her head. Don't worry. Nothing like that will happen with me. All right then. Come on, said Lin Feng. The boat was quite big. One more person wasn't a problem, especially a beautiful woman like her. According to her behavior, Lin Feng felt like she didn't really like Yang Ziyi. Her qi and cultivation weren't bad either. Her social status probably was extraordinary. What's your name? Asked the girl to Lin Feng with a smile. You should at least show me your face if you want to know my name, said Lin Feng, laughing and looking at the landscapes around. You're a proud person, said the girl, giggling. She took off her veil. She was extremely beautiful. Beautiful cheeks, beautiful eyes, beautiful skin. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and touched her cheeks very gently. However, the girl wasn't happy at all and released an ice-cold qi. Degenerate. She immediately slapped Lin Feng. Surprisingly, that guy actually touched Heather. Did he want to die? Lin Feng came back to his senses and stepped back. An energy sharper than a sword was moving towards him. Chapter 999. Tiantai. Lin Feng suddenly stood up and released some demon sealing strength. The girl released even more qi. She was close to Lin Feng now. Wait, said Lin Feng, grabbing her hand and preventing her from moving. She coldly looked at him and said, "No wonder the Yang clan humiliated you. You're a degenerate. Can you listen to me first, please? I can explain," said Lin Feng. He knew that he had made a mistake, but he couldn't help it. They were so similar. Almost the same, like twins. Her qi was different, otherwise Lin Feng wouldn't have come back to his senses. "Explain," said the girl with a cold smile. "You have an explanation for such odious acts?" "Indeed I do. You look like my wife," said Lin Feng. "That girl looks like Xianyi. It's just that their qi is different." That's why Lin Feng had felt so strange. "Don't you have a better excuse?" said the girl. She didn't believe him. "You can ask my friend," said Lin Feng, pointing to Chongqi. Chongqi looked at the girl with twinkling eyes. He was aroused too. He said, "Indeed, the very same. Apart from the qi, you could be twins." "You think I'll believe you?" said the girl, frowning. She still didn't believe Lin Feng. "I can prove it to you. Look," shouted Lin Feng furiously. When she saw that Lin Feng was shouting, she shouted even louder and said, "How? Stop using your qi and I will show you," said Lin Feng. The girl begrudgingly stopped using her qi. Lin Feng shook his hand and the snowy tower appeared. Then the great rock appeared. The great rock looked at Lin Feng and then looked at Duan Xianyi. He was very surprised. He looked happy too. Obviously, he thought that was Xianyi too. "Miss, you also came to Ba Huang province," said the great rock in a low voice. Lin Feng looked at the great rock and said, "She's not Xianyi. I promised you I'd stop putting you in the animal tower, but sometimes I have to because it's better to hide you." Lin Feng looked at the girl and said, "Do you believe me now?" The girl's eyes twinkled. She was still angry, but she believed him. The great rock didn't know what had just happened, but he also thought that she was somebody else. "But you touched me indecently," said the girl coldly. "You should marry him too, he's very responsible," said Chongqi impolitely. Lin Feng looked at him and said, "You shut up." He was going to cause trouble. The girl was very strong and Lin Feng couldn't defeat her. "Little boy, that girl is really nice. Trust me, she could be a great wife. It only benefits you that she looks like Xianyi. Back then I had so many women too," said Chongqi using telepathy. Lin Feng sighed. "It wasn't on purpose. If you want anything, please feel free to ask me," said Lin Feng. The girl looked at him, remained silent for a few seconds and laughed. "All right, let's forget about it. You still haven't told me your name," said the girl. "Lin Feng, and you?" replied Lin Feng naturally while putting the great rock away. "Qiu Yu Xian," said the girl, smiling. She looked like she was a completely different person when she was happy from when she was angry. Lin Feng was sitting next to her and looking at her. He still couldn't tell her and Xianyi apart. Their qi was different though. "I look like your wife that much?" asked Qiu Yu Xian while giggling. "Only your qi is different, otherwise you'd be twins." "Well, could you be interested in me then?" said Qiu Yu Xian with a gentle smile. Lin Feng gulped down. Of course he would. He had to chase that thought out of his mind. He was trying to convince himself that it was a fake copy. "If I face dangers, will you help me?" asked Qiu Yu Xian. Same smile, same voice, different qi. Many men were probably crazy about her. Actually, she was even better than Xianyi in some ways. Maybe, sighed Lin Feng, gazing into the distance. All this made him think about Shui Yu and Xianyi and his parents. Lin Feng wanted to be next to Xianyi. But the world was too big, and he needed to become stronger. He had to face many dangers and go through hardships to become stronger. The boat stopped 3 days later when they arrived in Tiantai. There were strong cultivators all around. There were many geniuses in Ba Huang province, and most of them wanted to become Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu's imperial cultivation disciples. Apart from the candidates, there were also many people who wanted to watch. Of course, there were many people who were accompanying their children. Tiantai wasn't a town. It was the biggest moat in Tianjing city. It was a symbol, a geographical symbol, a social symbol. According to rumors, Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu lived there. According to legends, there were 18,000 steps to get to Tiantai. At that moment, a boat streaked across the sky and stopped above Tiantai. Then it landed slowly. "That's incredible imperial strength," said Qiu Yu Xian, looking at Tiantai. She could sense the incredible qi. The recruitment process had attracted so many people. Lin Feng put the boat away. Qiu Yuxian and he were similar. They both enjoyed the beautiful things of life like the landscape sitting in front of them now. 18,000 steps leading to the sky. That's how you get to Tiantai. It looked like an ancient town and it possessed a strange illusion like qi around it. No matter where they went, to their left, on their right, behind and before, it was always an illusion. The steps even looked like an illusion. Yandi, what's that? What do emperors use to cast such spells? Asked Lin Feng. Yandi raised his head and remained silent for a long time. He didn't reply to Lin Feng either. Back then, he was an emperor. Now that he was looking at an emperor's work, he was feeling sad again. Practice as hard as you can and someday I'll tell you. Step by step, said Chongqi after a very long time. Lin Feng was speechless. Chapter 1000. Celestial steps. There were some people trying to get up the stairs, but they were very slow. Those stairs contain a very intense energy. Going up them is the only way to access Tiantai, said Qiu Yuxian while smiling at Lin Feng. All right, said Lin Feng, nodding. He then started walking up the stairs. But very quickly a strange strength oppressed him. Qiu Yuxian looked at Lin Feng, who smiled and said, that flight of stairs can sense my qi. Seems to sense if we're strong or weak. It's difficult to control those stairs. Controlling that kind of incredible invention was difficult. Let's try to get up, said Qiu Yuxian, laughing. She then tried to walk up the stairs as well and reached the second step. Then she started running. She was running with incredible speed. Lin Feng did the same. As expected, the oppressive strength was intensifying with each step they took. Lin Feng, you're too slow. There are 18,000 stairs in total. If we manage to get up, that will be our first test to becoming imperial cultivation disciples. With your speed, you'll need millions of years to arrive, said Qiu Yuxian jokingly. She wasn't as cold as when he had touched her before. She was fun and enjoyable. All right, said Lin Feng, smiling. Her smile was warm and gentle, just like Xian Ye's. Lin Feng remembered Xian Yi back then in the palace. Busy. Lin Feng used wind energy and started moving extremely fast. It seemed like he was flying, but in fact his feet were touching every single step. In a flash he ran up 300 steps. However, 300 out of 18,000 wasn't much, especially given that the force was becoming even more oppressive. 18,000, that was a frightening number. Becoming an imperial cultivation disciple wasn't easy. Lin Feng, hurry up, said Qiu Yuxian, and while smiling indifferently. Lin Feng used wind intent. His wind intent was already level 6 now. Even those who had a higher intent level weren't as fast as him because he had also mastered the Xiaoyao agility technique. He was faster than most cultivators of the 5th Tianqi layer. In a flash, 1,000 more steps. 1,000 steps, I'm so tired, said Qiu Yuxian. She looked at Lin Feng, smiled and said, not bad, level 6 wind intent. Should we continue playing? Said Qiu Yuxian while smiling. You play and I'll watch, said Lin Feng, giggling. Qiu Yuxian frowned and stopped smiling. She suddenly looked cold and detached, the same as when he had first met her. Let's continue. We don't know how much more we'll have to do before the exam, said Qiu Yuxian. Then she continued running up the stairs. She didn't stop this time and didn't turn around to look at Lin Feng. Lin Feng frowned and didn't understand what was wrong with her. Was she suffering from mood swings? However, Lin Feng remembered each second she had smiled. Her smile was unforgettable. 3,000 steps. Qiu Yuxian stopped again and took a deep breath. She was feeling the weight now. The oppressive force was getting quite heavy. Lin Feng stopped next to her. He was still smiling and was feeling relaxed. Busy. A strong wind started blowing and Lin Feng's clothes were torn. Qiu Yuxian started running even faster than before and didn't stop for a while this time. Who is she? Whispered Lin Feng, looking at Qiu Yuxian. She was very beautiful. They couldn't be the same, they couldn't even be sisters, but then why did he have the feeling he knew her? They had known each other for such a short time. Her smile was so... well, it gave Lin Feng an unusual feeling. Lin Feng didn't think too much about it though. He continued running up the stairs using wind intent and following Qiu Yuxian. He was a few dozen steps behind her. Qiu Yuxian, someone said. The voice came from the sky. Qiu Yuxian and Lin Feng stopped. What? Said Qiu Yuxian, looking at that person coldly. A few people had arrived and looked at Qiu Yuxian. I'm happy to see you here, said that young man, smiling and nodding at Qiu Yuxian. He then looked at Lin Feng and said, What a coincidence, brother Lin, you're here too. What a small world, whispered Lin Feng coldly. It was Yang Zilan. Lin Feng slowly turned his head and looked at the people next to him. Yang Ziyi Chou Jun Luo Jiangning. Chou Jun Luo glared at Lin Feng with murder in his eyes. He had humiliated him and injured him in front of everybody, and that was not something he would forgive. Now Yang Zilan and his friends were there. They weren't surprised to see Lin Feng behind Qiu Yuxian though. Brother Lin, you're right, it's a small world, said Yang Zilan, smiling. But that smile was hypocritical and made Lin Feng feel uncomfortable. Yang Zilan looked at Qiu Yuxian and said, What a coincidence to see you, Miss Qiu. You should come with us. The more the merrier. And you'll have people to talk with. I'm not interested, said Qiu Yuxian coldly. Yang Zilan didn't mind. Qiu Yuxian was known for being cold in Bahuang province, so he expected her to act like that. We're not bothering you any longer then, said Yang Zilan as he moved away to let her pass. Qiu Yuxian turned around and said to Lin Feng, Let's continue, Lin Feng. Yang Zilan was surprised. Did they know each other? Besides, they seemed close and were traveling together. Qiu Yuxian was with a guy. Yang Ziyi, Chou Jun Luo and the others were all surprised. Qiu Yuxian was known for her beauty. She was an aristocrat too. According to rumors, very few people had seen her face because she rarely came out. And now surprisingly she was with Lin Feng? You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.